I didn't know if there was a difference.
Well, that's what I got to do tomorrow. Is I got to text Talk to say, "Morning, babe."
All I know is this. In our relationship, I'm Sonny Bono, your Cher.
So at least I'm still alive.
That's true, but you're Cher.
With all those surgeries.
Yeah. Well, but Sonny Bono ate a tree.
That's true.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He died skiing.
Oh, I thought you meant like he ate like a tree like for fun.
No, he ate a tree, as in he was skiing
and hit a tree.
He was probably having fun until he ate the tree.
Yeah, he probably was.
Hey, Cher in a music video shoved an entire battleship up her vagina. So,
sailors and all.
Sailors and all.
At least we got that out at the 1 minute mark and not 7 seconds.
What do you mean? There's nothing wrong with that.
Like the few instances where you and I dropped F-bombs in the first 7 seconds. Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. Damn it.
Oh, hey. I guess I'll wear my Santa hat.
Yeah, it's that time of year, man.
Why not? Hell yeah, bitch. I got a Santa hat.
Oh, now I have a machine gun.
Some pretty serious rumble rant from Pinochet.
Ooh, what'd he send?
Holy shit, dude. Yeah, we'll get to that first thing.
Oh, shit.
Jesus.
It's Thursday night, getting ready for the show now. Tension's running high, and I'm feeling I could throw down. Hit me with that limelight, getting ready for a fight. Cause we're throwing down this Thursday night. The whole nation is rolled out for the showdown. That must mean it's Thursday night throwdown. Better be ready for anything that goes down. What can we say? But welcome to the show now. Whole nation is rolled out for the showdown. That must mean it's Thursday night throwdown.
Well, I'm not going to have the damn intro.
That's fine, dude. Don't worry about it.
Phil Mora had to do an update. Now lets me do it.
Yeah.
Comics division and Nick Weiser too. Culture casino and toxic man.
Is it culture at that one thing in Arizona?
TPSA? Yeah.
That's crazy, man. I know Adam from Vets Hawkins there too.
Well, that's yeah.
Good for them.
They got press passes through Adams Connections.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Right now, Don Trump Jr. is talking.
Oh,
They've
is
already
he?
had. Let's see. They've had Charlie Kirk. They've had Ben Shapiro. They followed Ben Shapiro with Ben Carson.
That's funny.
Going from 2.5 speed talk to 1.5 speed talk.
And still,
It was
I'd
a
much
little
rather
bit
listen
jarring.
to Carson.
Then after Carson, we just had Steve Bannon, and now it's Trump Jr.
If you are looking for something to do this weekend and you just happen to be near Swallow Hill, Delaware, then why not join the Pixel Nation at the second annual Joe Biden Bike Fest?
Joe Biden.
That's
Bike
right.
Fest.
Join us and you can bike with one of the many presidential body doubles throughout the beautiful countryside
Is
of
the
the
president
first
still
state
alive?
in our union.
Not
According
according
to
I
times
don't
the
know.
emergency medical vehicle teams as last year's disastrous event, this year's Joe Biden Bike Fest promises to be a great time for all, especially you ladies with long hair. Now don't forget to visit this year's sponsors, Pinochet's Helicopter Tours. When life has got you down, let Pinochet's Helicopter Tours give you a lift to the clouds. Pinochet's is offering 30% off companion tickets from their brand new location at the Division Ranch in Bangs, Texas. Pinochet Helicopter Tours make our tour your last tour. And of course, Muff's Bar, Home to the biggest clams in the South, Muffs is located at 6969 Kamonawanalea Boulevard in glistening Glaze City, Texas. Dive into Muffs Bar, finger-licking good since 1969.
Penis exploding with entertainment.
One thing we don't do on Thursday Night Throwdown is screw around.
No,
Wow.
we don't.
By the way, have you guys seen Toxic Man Flu naked in the shower? It's like really disgusting. Like somebody vomited in a blender and like said extra chunky. It's really gross. Like every time I see him, I want to shave my eyeballs with a razor. We are literally the same height.
No, I'm definitely taller, Comics.
We got your back, Comics. You okay back there, Nick?
Rochambeau?
Bravo to TNT Command. Target is locked. That's a confirmed hit. Target is down.
Oh, I get the helicopter because I'm the fat kid. That's bull. You, Rogan, get away from my turtles.
I don't have any hands and feet, Comics. I can't fly a plane.
You cannot read a super chat.
It's Thursday night Throwdown!
This really is an old intro.
Yep.
Yeah.
We need to go back to the generic one.
I do have a generic one in there somewhere.
Excuse me, we'd like you to have this flower.
But,
Excuse me, sir, would you... Donation to the Reverend Moon? Jews for Jesus? Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism?
you know what I need to do? I need to get a picture of Brahma and make it one of those cartoon ones.
Like Jib Jab?
No, yeah, well, no. Make it like a cartoon filter and just have it on the bottom say, how about Buddhism?
Hmm.
And do that.
Yeah, makes sense. At least people can hear you. It wasn't just like people staring at me in silence. So as we make the jokes, hello everyone, welcome to Thursday. Yeah, a lot of DC news today. Kind of DC. You know, dead company, dead comics. Well, they can't hear you, Nick. So I was gonna bring everybody on.
I said that anyways.
Yeah,
because of the name DC Comics. I'm like, so basically, it's Detective Comics.
Yeah. But yeah, it's funny because like, oh, dude, they keep making fucking stupid mistakes.
Like hiring James Gunn.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's a good thing or a bad thing until we get the first movie. Based off of Creatures Commandos, yeah, I would say it's not gonna pan out. But we'll see. We shall see. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Thursday. Jaffo for $10. If you build 100 bridges, but suck 1 dicks, you're a dick sucker. If you suck 100 dicks, but build 1 bridge, you're Ubisoft or Culture Casino. Yeah, Ubisoft, they're not looking so hot these days. No, aren't they? Yeah, 2025 might be their year of going bankrupt. Yeah.
Seems like
TVG Monster for $2 says hi, comics and everyone. Happy Thursday to you, sir. Hope you're doing well, and hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. That is right around the corner, but you'll see us on Monday, so we'll wish you a Merry Christmas then. Also, TVG Monster gifted a membership. Thank you, sir. And he also follows up with another $2 super chat that says, Clark Kent looks like Hassan, but crypto's cute. Now that you mention it,
a little bit.
I kind of see it. Peter Chase Helicopter Tours says spent last 3 days dealing with congestive heart failure. That's nasty, dude. That is not good. Please take care of yourself. Don't ignore your medication, folks. Run down, humble, and honestly scared straight a bit. Going to be listening in tonight. Life is short. Indeed it is. Sadly, my stepdad had congestive heart failure, which is one of the contributing issues that led to, his death a couple of years ago. And I also had several dogs that had congestive heart failure. It's no fucking joke. And I had them on pills too. it's rough. So yeah, please, Pinochet, take care of yourself.
Be praying for you, bud.
Yeah. Eric K gifted 5 memberships.
Eric gave 5 members out.
Gifting 5 dicks coin.
Eric K, the 5-dicked wonder. There we go.
Indeed.
That's why I keep staying in California.
Indeed.
I miss her.
Also, Safety Raptor, celebrating 12 months as a member, says Santa Mexican Iron Man giving goal to Alf gives to Tom TMNT Comics action figures. Gives Tox a shield against Dennis the Menace. Gives Andre a Viking sword.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's on that list, I guess.
Except Mad.
I think most of y'all too, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm probably on that list.
Tox is the real meme coin here. So, yeah.
Gotta be careful with those.
I'm actually going to
coins
start
right
a
now.
new meme coin. Saw that Jeff Charles was leaving Red State for another Oregon.
Well, it's okay.
He's going to Town Hall.
Town Hall, which is the same thing, right? It's open.
Yeah, it's basically owned by the
Part of
same
the
company.
Who's in an ER?
Yeah, it's Tox.
Tox.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Are you
Mrs.
okay?
Mrs. Flu is on a heart monitor.
Holy shit. Are you sure okay?
No, everything's fine, dude. It's his.
Don't
NAS
do that
server
to me, you asshole.
Why would Tox be on stream if his wife was in the hospital?
Because he's Tox.
I mean, I get
Because
it.
I'm that dedicated.
She could have threatened him. She said, "Go do the show. Leave me alone. I can't stand to see you for a while, or I'm going to throw another piece of meat at you."
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like literally, if Tox was streaming from like the hospital, I would boot him for the stream. Be with your wife, dude. Seriously, go.
He's asleep.
Remember when
Mhm.
Mrs. Flu gave
She's asleep.
Tox a daily facial? What was that old jingle? It's like, those were the days.
Exactly.
Nurse, can you come in and turn down the beeping? I'm
My
streaming
name is
here.
Toxic Kente, by the way.
Would the hospitals have good enough Wi-Fi for that though?
You
Yes.
could probably wire in.
Okay. The number one complaint that we get in the hospitals is from the family members who say your Wi-Fi isn't fast enough.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to update my
So
my Facebook with the updates
Exactly.
on? Yeah.
Hey, I get Facebook and MySpace.
The MySpace. Back in my day, we did the MySpace, not the Facebooks.
That's Toxic Man Flu at CompuServe.com.
CompuServe. That's what it was. We were trying to figure out today all of the before MySpace, all the bulletin boards. You had LiveJournal, and I kept trying to remember the other one. It was
It's CompuServe, baby.
CompuServe.
That's from so that's a joke in Blue Harvest, the Family Guy spoof of Star Wars.
Yes.
He gives her his address. That's Han Solo at CompuServe.com. Yes.
Yeah, that's
right. CompuServe.
AOL Messenger, ASL.
I remember all that stuff.
ICQ. Oh, wow. Nice.
I haven't.
Yeah. Well, there we go. So, Tom, did you watch Creature Commandos?
Fuck no, I thought we were talking about Superman. Jesus Christ.
We are talking about
We're
Superman.
talking about both.
Talking about both. It's in the list.
Tom,
Dude.
I didn't plan on staying
I'm
long.
glad you didn't watch Creature Commandos.
I don't have
Outside
time
of
for that
one
shit in
thing.
my life.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. Once you leave, it's probably like a 5-10 minute conversation. Yeah,
I bailed after the first episode.
as you
that
should.
way.
You really should. Honestly,
built at the
episode
thumbnail.
3, half of the episode was actually pretty decent, and the rest of it was garbage. Yeah, actually, I'd say maybe a third of it. It's hard to tell.
I saw the
one time.
thumbnail and I was like, yeah, that's enough for me.
Yep.
I get it.
But yeah, we're talking about Superman, the trailer that came out today, and they had the teaser the previous day, which was all right, I guess. But yeah,
There's a lot in it.
there is a
But
lot.
nothing.
There's a lot of cameos in it, but there is jack shit. Really, when it comes to the what's going on with Superman here, so.
No, I think that was it considered a teaser trailer? It was supposed to show us teasers, but not actually give us the gist of what's going on. I think it did what it lived up to what it was trying to advertise in terms of teasing as a trailer. It's not
Right.
a trailer.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine that it didn't give away the story, give away the plot like trailers have done the last.
Yeah, we've had a lot of that in years too, where you already know the entire movie. I'd rather have something like this. The day and age of, well, they're not giving this and they're not giving that way. It's when we start getting that, then we end up getting too much. And right now we're in a time and age where none of these companies can measure the perfect medium between the two. So you rather have it all, or you rather have next to none. Right now,
I feel like there's something in the middle.
I'll take. Well, in a perfect world, but we're talking about people who don't know how to get that balance right. So we got to play the hand we've been dealt. Right now, we get all of it, or we get none of it. Right now,
Nosferatu seemed to nail it pretty well.
Well, and I was gonna bring up 28 years
James
later.
Gunn and DCU, no.
Well,
it's still a trailer.
Okay, speaking of trailers, okay, a perfect trailer that I've seen recently, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have as well, is 28 Years Later, which was fantastically done. Because the whole idea of a trailer is to get you to want to see the movie.
Yes.
And that does it for me. This one, I thought the Superman trailer was all right. You know, I'm not going to be like, yeah, this is the greatest trailer ever. I did like the crypto stuff. I thought that was, pretty well done. Twitter's funny because you have people complaining about the dog.
It was unexpected for me. I wasn't expecting it.
Well, also consider too that we got the story about studio interference on the trailer, so it could very well be because apparently and Tom, I don't know if you had anything on this. There was a story came out. Was it yesterday? Day before? Might have been earlier this week that executives kept wanting to tweak the trailer. So apparently they've been messing with this for a while. Well, they had the big press preview screening thing, Monday or Tuesday?
Yeah, apparently they're really confident in the movie.
Actually, Gunn addressed this. I think it was like last week. But
okay, that's what I was.
Yeah, he said, well, if they mean there's any studio interference, they're talking about me because I'm my own worst critic or something like that. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he's like, I'm the one who decides, basically. Because that was what I heard from the start. He's the end all be all when it comes to this shit. And they kind of trust him. Now, as far as like, are there people worried? And are there people like that kind of a thing? Now that's being overblown a bit. But yeah, I mean, they're concerned. This is their big tentpole movie of next year. This is going to set up their DC universe going forward. So it's got to work.
Yeah. And James Gunn is a very good filmmaker. You know, I mean, just look at the Guardians movies. Slither is such a great horror movie. I mean,
he does body snatcher movies very well.
He does.
I don't know what else he's done.
Well, have you seen the movie Super?
Super.
Yeah.
Fucking great movie. Again,
the Specials is really good too. A lot of people haven't seen that one.
I don't think I've seen that one either.
That was an earlier one he did, and Robert Meyer Burnett is actually one of the producers on it. He's in the movie. James Gunn is. I think he was one of the co-writers. It's basically a parody of the Avengers. It was like Mystery Men before Mystery Men.
Mystery
the comic existed, but the movie came out before the movie. Like it's just a bunch of like fake superheroes, and it's like a kind of talking head camera mockumentary kind of thing. It's got like Rob Lowe and a bunch of people in it, and James Gunn's in it. And he did it during his trauma days and stuff like that. It was
I was gonna say, and that's one thing that people tend to forget is that James Gunn's roots is trauma. And if you don't know what trauma is,
well, and he supposedly directed Tromeo and Juliet, and worked on Toxic Avenger 4 and a bunch of other shit too. And he's in Toxic Avenger 4, if I remember right. But
and that's where a lot of his edgy boy stuff kind of comes from, is being a trauma director. I've seen some stuff on Twitter going around. It's like, I can't believe Geeks and Gamers is promoting this trailer with him, like with the fans of the Playground stuff. It's like, dude, if there was fans of the Playground stuff with James Gunn, I'm sure people would have come out and said something, rather than the fact that he made a bunch of edgy jokes on Twitter. And then on top of that, he had a To Catch a Predator party, which I thought was pretty fucking funny.
I was going to say, if you go listen to anything Lloyd Kaufman has said in the last 50 years, you'll know exactly the kind of humor and shit they were doing over there at Trauma. It is so, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not clicking on the links. It's like, he's sharing pornography. It's like, did you click on it? Like, I'm not clicking on that. I don't need the FBI showing up at my door. It's like, if you actually click on it, you get the joke.
Yeah.
It's, it's like, and they're like, I don't need to see a bunch of little girls singing this song. I was like, it's a fucking college choir.
Dude,
like,
yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. When Cernovich got James Gunn canceled from Disney doing Guardians, I made a video about it. I basically, defended James Gunn because it's a fucking joke. Okay. That thing that we all used to make and have fun laughing at.
And that's what I said too, is if you ever laughed at any of the jokes in Airplane where he's like, so do you like Roman wrestling?
Yeah.
You ever
It's
seen
the same fucking thing.
It's the same goddamn thing. It's just context, right? And even South Park has done it. One of the greatest fucking South Park episodes of all time is the episode where Mr. Garrison gets mad at his dad because he didn't fucking molest him as a child.
Yeah.
He didn't think he loved him enough. You tell me that is not fucking hilarious.
I remember that.
The best episode or the most relatable?
I don't know about that.
For you, Dad, but not for the rest of us. We just think it's funny.
Oh no, is Disney gonna cancel me?
Probably.
So again,
cancel you again?
Or they'll hire you.
You can make any joke funny. It's just all about context. Now, I will agree up and down, like were half of those jokes completely stupid and distasteful? Yes.
Yeah,
but like
absolutely.
I said, terms like prepubescent and stuff like that were shit that Lloyd Kaufman and those guys would use all the fucking time. He's clearly not gay for one, but Lloyd Kaufman would make jokes about prepubescent boys a lot. That's the joke.
Yeah.
Because he's surrounded by big-breasted women constantly, right? Like that's
hell. That must be hell.
Yeah,
well, it's like, do you ever seen his
was surrounded by them too, and he really came out of the closet in the 90s.
Did you ever see James Gunn's porn parody stuff that they did during the writer's strike back in was it 2007?
But like, did he really have that party, or was that part of that music video shoot thing and people twisted it? That was something I was always curious about because he was
I think that was actually a Halloween party that he did
because he was in a Norwegian music video dressed like that,
like a priest.
Yes, and that's what all those.
No,
pictures
this was like a picture at his house.
Video.
It was like at a house, and there was a bunch of other people.
Maybe they had a party after the video shoot or something. I don't.
I have no fucking clue. I don't remember the context. I just thought the shit was fucking hilarious. But he did this porn parody stuff back in the early aughts, and it's fucking hilarious because there's like this hot chick that breaks down. Her car breaks down. He's like a mechanic, and she's like, "How do you want me to pay you?" And she has like a box of kittens in the car. He takes out this kitten, and he's like, "I just want this," and she's really don't want anything else. Nah, I'm gonna take it home and fuck it. It's just like it's fucking funny. It is absolutely hilarious. And it's making a joke about bestiality. That is James Gunn. Okay.
Yeah, that is. He's always had.
Well, if you take one look at his wife, I highly doubt he's into little boys.
It's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you actually pay attention to his humor, whether you like it or not, that's fine. But he's always kind of pushing the boundaries with that stuff. You can hate it and find distasteful, fine, but that is who he is in a nutshell. For me, Gunn has done things I like, and he's absolutely done things that I don't like. And I will be fair and honest with each and every one of those things individually.
And you guys are saying this Creature Commandos is not so good.
So happy,
dude.
You should watch Skeleton Crew instead.
Should we get Creature Commandos out of the way so we can pave way for Superman?
Well, we'll talk about Superman first. What were we saying, Talks?
I'm just going to say I'm so glad that all those jokes and irreverent humor is going to be in Superman.
I don't
know if
I don't know.
is.
We'll see.
I don't see that, or we would
I
have
don't
had it
think
in the
it will
trailer.
be that. No.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I don't honestly. If it is, that's gonna hurt the Superman movie. If it ends up like even being, let's just say, like a Diet Ragnarok or Love and Thunder, yeah, that's gonna absolutely tank the Superman movie because that type of humor where it's that off the wall and that constant and in your face does not fly with a Superman movie.
Well, James Gunn didn't have anything to do with those two movies, did he?
No, my
he
point
didn't.
is that I'm talking about the comedic tone. That if he goes into that level, is what I'm saying. No, he didn't have anything to do creatively. What I'm just saying is if he goes crazy at the humor,
So here's the point I'm trying to make. What serious film in this genre has James Gunn made?
Super.
I would actually say Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was more serious.
Yeah.
I heard that was a very serious movie. I haven't seen it, but
It's
I've
the
heard
least funniest of the three, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it has its comedic moments, but overall, it does touch on some pretty deep and dark concepts.
You got some people that won't watch it or refuse to watch it ever again because CGI animals get killed in it.
Yeah.
Well, it's emotionally a rough movie.
That's what I'm saying. It's you get that emotionally attached to those cartoon characters, basically. Let's be real, for what they really are.
Yeah,
right. So I'm going to say James Gunn and I agree with Caveman 4207 or Salute, whatever that is. None. He hasn't made any. So this is the first time he's going to be making a serious superhero movie, because Superman is a serious film.
I don't know. Super is pretty serious.
It is.
Have you guys seen Super? Has ever?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I've seen it several times.
Even though it's got comedic elements in the first half of the film, that last half is so brutal and realistic that it almost
should Superman. Okay, should Superman have any comedic elements in it?
You can have some.
I think lighthearted moments.
Yes.
Moments.
That first Superman movie has some hilarious bits in it.
Yeah.
You can have
Not even
moments
counting
where-
Otis or any of that kind of shit, which is clearly just, physical humor. We're talking about listen to that banter between Lois and Clark, or Superman and Clark, more or less, on the fucking roof. The whole back and forth between what color underwear am I wearing and shit like that. That is all set up for humor. There's a ton of little bits there. All the stuff that Clark's doing, that he's doing in the Daily Planet and out in the street and everywhere else. There's all kinds. Lex Luthor is one of the funniest fucking villains ever in that movie.
You could do you could do like the occasional dad joke, something a bit on the nose he'll say, because that's what they'll like it when he rough up a bad guy, he'll say something a little on the nose, kind of like a pun type of thing. He has those type of jokes. All right, also you could definitely play some of the fish out of water jokes because he's so culturally different from like the rest of the world around him that he's not as aware. You can do that stuff in moderation, and that is good. And there's tons of great stuff. I mean, the Superman, the animated series, has moments of that.
You had Superman break the fourth wall in the Christopher Reeve film. Does everybody forget this?
Oh, I forgot. It's been years since I've watched it.
He does it once. When he saves Lois from getting shot. He looks at the bullet, drops it, and then he looks at us in the camera and gives us kind of like a wink moment. And then he winks at us again at the end of the film. At the end of every one of them when he's circling the earth or whatever.
I agree that there's a lot of human moments and mirth-filled moments. There's a word I would use in the Christopher Reeve's first Superman film is mirth. I'm definitely causing Mad to do something. I don't know. The look on your face, it just looks like you're thinking. I can smell the smoke.
Does he not know what mirth is?
I was like mirth. Oh, I was like mirth. What century is that from? Am I gonna have to Google this word? Like, what is it by mirth?
It's humor and joy.
It's lighthearted humor.
I got it from the context.
Yeah, it's lighthearted humor and joy and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not the edgy, type humor.
That's for sure. No.
Right?
No, it's supposed to be clean.
It's playful.
It's supposed to be clean.
It's a playful humor. It's a joyous. Okay, yeah.
And as much as James Gunn has talked about how important Superman is to him, I don't think that he would take that kind of a risk and potentially alienating everybody who's a fan of the character.
Yeah.
I think he is aware he's working with much bigger characters than he was with the Guardians. And that doesn't mean that he's gonna still get it right. He could still fuck this all up for all we know.
Oh yeah.
But it seems like he has talked about some of the stories he has gone to for reference are stories that are legitimately good, like one of them being All-Star Superman from Grant Morrison, Frank Quitely. Highly recommend. But aside from that, he's recommending like the right ideas. He's going to source material that's okay, you can work some really good elements off of that. He's not doing an origin story. It's clear as he's aware that everyone and their mom in every third world country knows the origin story. Okay, cool. And the movie actually has more than one color. So it's clear he knows, he's not oblivious to what the basic surface level traits of Superman are. So whether he messes up, we'll find out. But at least we know he has some semblance of an idea of what Superman truly is.
I doubt
casting. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Oh, I was going to say I doubt Superman's going to be like Superman this dick at any point in the movie. So I think we're safe.
Do that. Yeah. I don't think he's going to start busting out rhymes like he's Eminem.
But I think that the trailer was overly serious on purpose because a lot of people have been afraid of that.
Not the haircut.
This James Gunn humor thing, but yeah.
Hey, Besco, good to see you.
So
well, I think the
Gunn
casting.
made comments.
Yeah, the casting. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I'll pull up the comments from Twitter that he made because I mean he seems to be taking it pretty serious.
I think the casting is when I first saw the trailer, and he turns around and all that stuff. I'm like, that's Henry Cavill's younger brother. That's what I got out of it. I think
Cavill's less attractive.
Is less attractive, less beefy, younger brother, right? But I think the cast. Yeah, he did. His hair is a little more Vidal Sassoon-ish. We'll
not a fan of the hair of anybody in this.
Using that herbal essence.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. A little bit too fruitosy.
His Superman hair was fine. Brom and I were talking about
his Superman hair outside of the broccoli cut. When he's Superman, the hair is perfect. He had the curl and the as he should.
But
Clark Kent, his hair looks awful. I agree with Brom. It looks like Hassan Piker.
In the Christopher Reeve movies, when he's Clark Kent, his hair is parted completely opposite of the way he wears it when he's Superman.
Yes.
In this one, you got the spit curl for Superman. All he's got to do is just run his hand through boom, broccoli hair, and it completely changes his look. This is the first time you're looking at that Clark and Superman look different enough. Because I've seen a bunch of chatter online. I can finally see how much people could not see that this guy is Superman because
that's the whole point. You're not supposed to know it. Because to a lot of ordinary citizens, Superman is Superman all the time. He's never someone who just walks among us. He's not someone who's blending in with the crowd. Even Henry Cavill, one day, I think this is about 10 years ago. I remember this back on early Instagram days. He decided to wear an opened out, button up, shirt that had a Superman shirt, and he decided to wear glasses. And he said he walked around Times Square all day, and he said not one time did he get stopped saying, "Hey, you kind of look like Superman." Yeah. And I think he proved the point. Like, hey, the disguise can't work. And
I think if it's people that aren't close to you, I think you are correct. The disguise will work.
It can't work because no one thinks of it. Also, look at the Christopher Reeve movie. There was that one scene where where you watch the way he the way he walks around to it, the way he raises his height, he changes his voice tone. He morphs from Superman to Clark within a few split seconds. And you see, that's when you knew, okay, if any actor can do that scene, that's when you guys know you got the right guy for playing Superman, because that scene demonstrated the ability of being Superman and being Clark. So, and Clark Kent is Superman, not Superman's Clark Kent, because he is the Kryptonian first.
Okay, so let's go around the panel. We'll start with you, Brahman. What was your impressions on the trailer? What'd you like? What you didn't like?
I hated Green Lantern's hair even more than I hated Clark's.
Nathan Fillion. Oh my God, he looks awful in that trailer.
There's a lot of back and forth about this hair. So I guess Nick, can back me up here. I guess this is exactly what it looks like in the fucking comics, I guess.
100%.
It is.
Well, certain times in the comic.
But, yeah.
More so than
it looks like a horrible wig. So I hated that. I was kind of lukewarm to it. I mean, I'm not the biggest Superman fan anyway, so I'll see it. I did not like what they had done with Ruth's, or Brandon Routh's. Is it Ruth or Routh? But did not like what they had done with Superman in that.
Returns.
I liked Cavill, but I didn't think they gave him a good movie to work with.
No.
I would like to have seen that instead of this. But
Ben Affleck's Batman.
But I'm lukewarm to it. Nothing special there.
Nick?
Overall, I did like it. I can't say that I loved it, but there were aspects of it that I did love. I actually, now I'm gonna be on the defense here, loudly and probably say I had no issues with Guy Gardner's hair. I said what I said. Clip that and get mad at me. I will double down on that shit.
This is turning into a hair products stream.
I did like the guitar version of the John Williams soundtrack. I thought that was great. And even though Crypto's not a Labrador, I'll forgive it because of the execution of what we got. Crypto and his interaction with Clark. It was a nice, fulfilling moment in that scene. I know there's complaints about he's on the ground. He's on the ground. It's just like maybe he just had a brutal fight with Brainiac. We don't know what happened yet. So I'll give the benefit of the doubt on that first because I need more details before. Well, I haven't seen the tweet. I'm just going off of what I've seen from the trailer.
We'll after and talk about it.
And I did like that the movie actually looks colorful. It looks like Superman's being heroic. I like that the suit, outside of that evil collar and the scales, I'm growing on the Kingdom Come style S. Of course, I like the nods to greater DCU. I like seeing Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. I think Rachel Brosnahan looks like a dream cast for Lois Lane. I think they freaking hit a home run with her. I hear she's a great actress.
She is much better. She looks like a much better Lois Lane than what's her name?
Amy Adams.
Amy Adams. Yeah.
Amy Adams.
So right when I started trying, I instantly knew, fuck, that's Lois Lane.
It's because Amy Adams is Mary Jane. She's not Lois.
Well, the fact that they've got Rachel wearing purple too, that says James Gunn's paying attention.
All right, Nick, I want to know your take when you get to it on Hawkgirl. I want to know that.
I'm conflicted on Hawkgirl because I didn't mind the suit, and now this is a personal thing. I just wish they went for Shira Hull and not Kendra Saunders. You won't know what any of that means, Tox, but someone in the chat will know exactly what I mean when I say that. Now, that aside, I was fine with the suits. My one big red flag of this movie is I worry it's not going to be a Superman movie. It's going to be another team movie, a CW version of Everything is a Team. Now, I have tried to come up with other angles in my head to kind of counter it. I'm like, could that be the Justice League International and they operate outside of the U.S. and maybe Superman operates in the U.S.? Because James Gunn did say Superman was going to be about truth, justice, and the American way. And you do have some guys in there you could have said, hey, yeah, Mr. Terrific. I could see it being Justice League International. Even though I like how Metamorpho looked, I like how Mr. Terrific looked. It's just, right now, it feels like you should have looked at the first Iron Man movie and say, this was an Iron Man movie with Iron Man, his villain, his supporting cast. And they should have done that with Superman, not incorporate the DCU on such large scales. One thing, if you want to make little nods, like the way they did for Stag Industries, okay, cool. You can acknowledge corporations that exist, maybe a newspaper flying by. Okay, great. But they don't need to give us all these characters. Like, we need to make sure this movie actually is liked and does well before we start, going all in on this universe. Because last time they tried that in 2016, well, we all know what happened with Batman featuring Superman Rush to the Justice League. That all backfired tremendously. But overall, I'd say I'm cautiously optimistic, and I'm going to see it opening night. There's no way I'm
not. I hope there's one other theme besides the Williams theme in the movie, though.
Mm-hmm. Who's next comic? Do you want to show?
We're going to Jason next.
Faster than a speeding bullet.
Burlet.
More powerful than a locomotive. It's Superman. The original Fleischer theme they should throw in there too at some point.
No, yeah.
Oh, I would love that. Even if maybe let's just say maybe Clark was like, I don't know, getting ready around the house, and maybe he left the TV on for background noise, like a radio, and it played that as like a song. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Oh, you could work it into a new orchestral version of it too,
that too.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jason, I'm sorry.
No, that's right. I enjoyed it. It is packed. There's a lot going on, but it doesn't give away the plot. That's the one thing that I really do like. I think Nicholas Hoult might be a little young to play Lex Luthor, but given the age of everybody else, it's probably going to work.
He's bald. He's got the height. He's definitely got both of those, which I like.
Hey, Nerd Wonders in the chat. What's up, Nerd Wonder? It's been a while.
I think one of the things that struck me is there seems to be a mix. He's kind of going for, because with the kaiju, that feels very much Silver Age Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a little bit of Superman 78 in there. I've seen nods and winks to the George Reeves series. I mean, this thing is packed with Easter eggs that people haven't even talked about yet. We broke it down today, and I even missed
Alex Ross on the street sign. Street sign, it said Alex Ross, Ross Boulevard or whatever. Yep.
But to Nick's point about the Justice League, with Guy and Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific in here, this is, I think, Justice League International, because Max Lord is in here too.
Mm-hmm. And that's a frequent villain of theirs.
And it's a frequent villain, and Stag is connected to Metamorpho. There's a lot of this stuff that's going on. I think that these are going to be pieces and elements. It is, Gunn said this is a Superman story, and these little pieces are going to be part of that. But I think they're going to be incidental to whatever the main thread plot is going to be.
Well, one thing I don't mind about it, because that's like one of the things that we constantly complain about, like, whoa, it's like, where's the Avengers in this movie? Because like this thing's going on. I like the fact if they were just cameos to make sure to introduce other characters in the world, I don't have an issue with it, as long as they play their part, they leave, whatever, and it's mainly focusing on Superman. I like the fact that they had Mr. Terrific in it. When DC did the New Age of Heroes, they had the Terrifics, and it was a great comic series.
Yes, it
was very short lived, which was my introduction to the character. Along with Metamorpho as well, and it was funny because since Marvel went and sidelined a bunch of their main comics, it was like the replacement for the Fantastic Four, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good series. I enjoyed it. Recommend you guys checking it out. I like the fact that they have him in the series. It would be great if they can work him into another movie. I don't know how much of a draw Mr. Terrific would actually be, but it would be nice to see more of these characters that that we've seen in the comics that people might not know about.
If they include his girlfriend, then you probably will have quite a few people, because then you could cast Sydney Sweeney as Power Girl and do $1.5 billion.
Yeah, Sydney Sweeney's Power Girl. That would definitely work.
Do gangbusters.
The thing is, though, if they cast Sydney Sweeney as Power Girl, they would have to do a 2-part film in which her right boob was in the first one and her left boob was in the second one.
Yeah,
that's what they would have to do.
And I'm with Brahma. I can't. Nathan Fillion. It's not the haircut, but Nathan Fillion.
He does look kind of old.
Completely miscast as Guy Gardner.
You know who he looks like? Remember Smoking Aces, right? Joel.
Yes.
Yes, you know who I'm talking about now, right?
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, the German guy that's somebody takes his face or whatever later on in the movie, but that's Joel, whatever his name is.
He looks like Uncle Fester at times.
Yeah. Uncle Ben, the young Uncle Ben.
I mean, I don't understand why, if they're going to go with an older Guy Gardner, an older Hal Jordan in Lanterns, because they got Kyle Chandler playing him. He's going to be an older mentor. I don't see why you couldn't put Nathan Fillion in to play Hal Jordan, because he's played Hal Jordan.
Yeah, he has. He's voiced
in animated pieces.
Yeah.
He needs to be
Joel Edgerton.
He's too old
Joel
for
Edgerton.
Hal Jordan now. I want a 35 year old to play like Hal Jordan, or at least someone.
If he's training Jon Stewart, then he's going to be at least in his 40s. I'm fine with Fillion is not that old. He's mid 50s maybe, and he would be fine as Hal Jordan if he's training Jon Stewart, because that's the setup.
But then he'll already be seasoned. We need Hal Jordan to develop his story. I want to get
53, so 54.
That's another reason why you need a younger guy to be Hal. Even if he's 40 but looks like he's 30 or 35.
I saw this comparison online where they had the side by side. It's just like, I can't fucking unsee it. I really can't.
That's not bad.
No.
Yeah, but
wait till you see the guy from Smoking Aces.
We're not getting Hal Jordan's origin. We're getting Jon Stewart's origin. In Lantern,
at least that guy looks like Jon Stewart.
True detective style thing, which is a dumb idea for a Green Lantern show.
I'll be honest with you. I want to see just Jon Stewart is Jon Stewart. I don't want to see him getting mentored. Just have him already be an established character. Yeah,
we're not getting that either.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me get things situated. So, Tom, you are next. What are your thoughts on the trailer?
I feel a little bit more optimistic than I did before. With all the pictures and stuff, but there's something about it. I mean, overall, I thought it was great. Yeah, I agree with some of you guys' nitpicks and other things. I guess my biggest complaint would be that it doesn't feel like the event movie it should. It doesn't feel like the event trailer that it should.
I'll agree with you on that. Yeah.
It feels more like a sequel to a movie we never got to see.
Potentially.
But that could potentially be a good thing because we're jumping straight into it rather than doing another origin
story. Yeah. We don't need an origin story. Everyone and their mother knows it. We can just assume it and feel safe assuming that.
Mm-hmm.
We already know he grew up in Smallville. Go ahead, comics.
Admittedly, as much as I have problems with Creature Commandos, the one thing I do like about it is that how they end up giving like some backstory on characters is they do it in one per episode rather than just making the show about the origin of the team and whatnot. So it's like you have the main plot line and then you get little snippets into the character's background.
Flashback type stuff.
Yeah. And to me, that's fine. It's like everybody and their dog knows the story of Superman and Batman and their origins and whatnot. Just tell us a good story about them, being at the height of their career rather than at the beginning or the end of it, right?
Yeah,
that's what I want to see.
You're going to run into a problem there when they do the Batman and Robin story because Robin's going to be Damian. And nobody knows who Damian is unless they've been reading the comic books.
Well, you got to remember, no one knows who Mr. Terrific is either, and they're bringing him into Superman. More people know who Damian Wayne is than they know who Mr. Terrific is. Honestly, that part is not relevant.
But it's not a Mr. Terrific movie. It's a Superman movie. He's just an ancillary character. If you
Damian Wayne's
Batman and Robin movie, yeah, but Batman and Robin is going to have a movie, and people are going to go see Batman and Robin. They're expecting Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson.
Yes.
Are most people expecting Dick Grayson?
Because
Chris O'Donnell's my Robin.
All the normies, all they know is Batman 66, and that's Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson, or they know the movies from the 80s.
I get what you're talking about, but Dick Grayson has not been Robin for a very long time.
But the general public doesn't know that. That goes into the whole Miles Morales thing.
Yeah,
right.
One of the biggest flaws with DC as far as their mediums outside their comics is that, for the normies, Dick Grayson has not been Robin in the comic books since the 80s. He has been Nightwing. Nightwing has been a character as Nightwing since the 80s. Outside of the Titan show,
40 years at this point.
Outside the Titan show that does not exist because it's that trash. We have not had Nightwing brought into another medium outside of comics. They should have gotten on the ball with this right away. We made a show on the CW based on a character named Naomi from a character created by Bendis half a decade ago. But yet we have 40 years of Nightwing, and not one story has been brought to a smaller big screen. Once again, the Titan show doesn't count.
He's been in the animated Batmans. Nightwing has shown up at
the yes, you're right. He's in the animated series later on. But we've not have a live version of him at all. And yes, once again, Titan show. I'm going to say it 3 times. Titan show doesn't count because that's.
I'll be honest with you. Damian is my least favorite Robin. He's a fucking annoying.
What I hate.
Why did the Teen Titans not count?
No, the Teen Titans show, the live one, the one that was just called Titans.
Oh, okay.
Not the animated one.
Because I think a lot of people actually know from the animated Teen Titans. The
two animated shows, yes. I'm talking about that live show that came out a few years ago when they were trying to get their own streaming service off the
what
ground.
I'm saying overall is a lot more people know about Damian than I think we would think, because Teen Titans was like really big for quite a while with my kids and other kids her age. Wasn't that Damian?
No, that was Grayson.
Was it Grayson?
That's Joel Edgerton from Smoking Aces. Or Green Lantern, whichever one.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's what I thought of when I saw that. And I cannot unsee that. It's unfortunate, but I can't unsee it.
I still love the Uncle Fester one. That shit's pretty funny.
That's probably the best one. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now that
Tom was up
playing higher. No, Tom, you still got anything else you want to say, or are you done?
Not that already hasn't been said. I'm good.
Okay. All right, Matt, you're up next.
Yeah, I didn't really care which way, one way or another watching it, other than I was like, oh, that's a weird haircut. Oh, everybody has weird hair. Why does everybody look like background characters in Guardians of the Galaxy? James Gunn. I mean, I was like, oh, okay, Superman has a dog. That's cool. Weird way to start it. Yeah, that's about it. That was what I thought. It's way too early to judge anything. Are there too many characters in there? Who knows? We haven't seen the movie. It could be done.
Well, Superman's had a dog since something like what, 1956?
Yeah, he's had crypto for a while, I believe.
Yeah, but
are you saying that was the original
mainstream audience? You know, the ones that are going to be push this movie to being successful or not. We didn't know he had a fucking dog.
Yep, that's true.
Did
And
Super
Matt's
Pets
right.
2 years ago, last year, Super Pets with The Rock and Keanu Reeves playing Batman.
Yeah, but a lot of people
okay.
just see it as DC animals and pets. Like, it's the same way when normies see a Spider-Man movie, they just, hey, look, it's Spider-Man. They're not diving into the details the way we do.
I know. I see this as an opportunity for us to also get Ace the Bat Hound.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah, that was my last thought. Thanks for stealing it. That was what I was going to end on.
All right, Tox, what are your thoughts on it?
I could not care any less about this film. And that's after watching the trailer.
All right.
They lost me when they had Henry Cavill, who I thought was the only replacement for Christopher Reeves that could hold water. And they produced the absolute trash that they did out of that. It just shows these people who make these films are so ungodly stupid, okay? They don't deserve any kind of success in anything. James Gunn, hopefully he makes a good film, but the people in DC before him and all this stuff, if they go into a drive-through line at McDonald's every single time for the rest of their life, I hope they spill all that shit in their crotch. Every single time. That's how unsuccessful these people need to be. Because they completely ruined who should have been a 4 or 5 picture deal Superman and given us really good films, and they fucked it up.
Well, part of it is giving it to Snyder, but yeah, I mean, my whole joke with Warner Brothers, WB stands for either we're boned or we're broke.
Can you give me a film without 15 other super distractions? Okay? Can you do that? Can you give me a penguin that's got 2? Can you do that? Right? No, he fucking can't. I have no faith in James Gunn at all. I think he got lucky with Guardians of the Galaxy. All right, I think he got lucky on the first one. I haven't seen anything else he's put out there that I've enjoyed. So
you didn't like Slither?
Yeah.
Really? I have to say, James Gunn, in my opinion, is probably an acquired taste, right? Because again, having the trauma background, you know, he does a lot of weird shit like Slither and Super.
Right, which is exactly what I don't want mixed in with Superman.
Well, no, exactly. And that, now I'll be honest with you, that's like a lot of people's concerns is the fact that the guy that did Super is now doing Superman, right? And that is like legitimate concern because James Gunn is a weirdo. So, I did like his the Suicide Squad. A lot of people panned that movie, but I thought it was a great superhero movie because that's exactly what it was. It felt like a fucking comic book with Starro and whatnot. Yep. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
I did too.
To me, that's the type of stuff James Gunn is made for. I do have concerns that he's doing Superman. What he needs to do is kind of pull back the James Gunn-isms.
Yeah.
Well, luckily he's not in charge of everything, right?
No, he's in charge of,
no,
he's
he
in charge of the whole
is.
thing.
He's the Kevin Feige as far as the creative part of it.
So then there isn't anybody to rein him in.
Yeah, but I don't see any indication so far, just from interviews, from behind the scenes clips, from all of the publicity stuff, and all of the official footage. I haven't seen any indication that typical James Gunn frat boy humor is going to be in this.
It doesn't look like.
How many lines
So
of dialogue
to
was in this
finish-
trailer?
Let Tox finish.
To finish my humor rant, when they had the kaiju, did you see Apache Chief? No, you did not. So you had this one opportunity to take somebody that I watched all the time on Saturday cartoons as the most ineffectual superhero in the world and have him defeat a kaiju. And what, is he anywhere in the movie? No. All right.
That's actually a pretty valid
James
point,
Gunn
Fox.
hates Native Americans. End of story. I'm never going to watch this again. Screw this guy. Screw this film. A dog? Give me a super cat. All right. Screw the dogs.
Super pussy.
I want a super calico to come flying in, because this is what's going to happen. Kaiju comes in. Oh, he's destroying the city. Cat sitting there, meow, 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 playing around until the kaiju takes some of the cat's food. Cat flies up there, one paw to the face, movie's over. That's exactly what I want to see out of this stuff. So there you go.
I know Brahma said that he had to bail after an hour, so I guess.
Bye, Brahma.
What? He didn't tell me.
Oh,
that.
I just saw that he said he was going to slip out. So okay,
Slipping and sliding.
fair enough.
I wonder
Take
if
care,
the
Brahma.
missus knows that.
Hey, dude, if I don't see you on Monday, Merry Christmas to you, sir. Have a good one. And last but not least, we have.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Brian.
that part. Screw James Gunn. Where's the Tylenol?
Talks, I am sharing a screen showing the giant cat that is in the movie. There is a still. There is a still of the giant
there
cat.
it is, right there.
She may have missed that in the trailer. It's just like one frame.
One frame subliminal. I totally missed it. Damn it.
Honestly, I'm not mad at it.
You started thinking about the cat was because of that one frame clip.
It was.
Yeah, Piku's got it. It's from the show called The Goodies, the British comedy show from the 70s. This trailer did not make me not want to watch the movie. Which many of them do. Many of them, it's like, great, now I know not to watch the movie. This one didn't make me think that. I did it. I enjoyed it. I didn't really overanalyze it too much, and I'm not a comics guy, so I enjoyed it a lot. I thought Rachel Brosnahan is pretty well cast.
That's with 5 Rands.
That's right. Isn't that her name?
Rosanna Dana. Is that?
I was ashamed that they breed swapped the dog, though. I think
Yeah,
they just can't help themselves in Hollywood.
I can forget that considering the cool interaction we got.
No, the breed swap.
It's a white supremacist dog.
The color's the same, but the breed is not.
The breed swap the dog is what I'm saying.
You're not going to find. I don't know that you defined a white Labrador Retriever anywhere.
I wish I knew more about the comics so I could make jokes about that.
About this stuff.
I'm like, I got jokes, but I can't do it. I don't
That's
know
the only
dog.
joke I could come up with. I'm a bit disappointed that Kevin Costner looks like he's put a lot of weight on and lost his hair. But
Somebody made a comment about how Paul Kent looks like Harvey Weinstein.
He does. Pruitt Taylor Vince looks like Harvey Weinstein.
He
He could
was
play.
so ugly.
He could do
He
the
looks
Harvey
like
Weinstein
Wilford Brimley.
biopic. He could do
Yeah,
the
he looks like
biopic.
Wilford Brimley, who's missed his Ozempic for the last 3
He was a
months.
good
That's what he
actor,
looks
but-
like. Yeah.
I legit was like, why is he hugging this mutant? What is happening? Like, he's a bad guy, right?
So
Well, and I do find it interesting though that both Jonathan and Martha appear to be alive.
Yeah.
Which is consistent with John Byrne's reboot after Crisis on Infinite Earths. You had the Man of Steel miniseries. Jonathan and Martha were still alive for a very long time.
I hope that they keep 'em
Jonathan
alive this
didn't
movie.
die in the origin story the way he did in the first Superman, the first Chris Reeve movie.
anyway, to finish my thoughts.
Where it's one of those kind of nights.
I enjoyed the trailer. However, like all of these things, it's one teaser. We know there's a lot of
Nothing
things
about
we
it.
don't know. There's a lot of more could come out. It could go sideways very quickly. But so far, it wasn't enough to make me say, oh, I'm not interested in that. I thought, okay, I'd like to see more. So that's a good sign. Yeah, it was It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. But
Brian, I have a question. What did you feel about Penguin buying a farm? I found that weird.
Penguin buying a farm.
Yeah. Did he not?
Well, he shouldn't be buying an iceberg or something.
Yeah, he's out there.
It's kind of weird.
Did
he waddle up into that one?
So yes. So yeah, so far so good. Does anybody know how long this movie is going to be? I've not seen a
Not
running
yet.
no proposed running time. No. What are we
I
thinking?
will say this in positive about the trailer: Zendaya was not in it.
Yeah.
Yet.
So,
Yet.
yeah. Okay. Oh, right. You ruined it for me. Thanks,
Yes.
Brian. I'm not going to be able to sleep now.
That's a bait and switch.
right.
She's actually the star.
I have a few more things I want to add. Then we're going to jump to super chats, and then we'll move on to Creature Commandos briefly for a moment. One of my issues with this, having watched Creature Commandos and seeing some of the political commentary that is in the show, does have me concerned about the movie because as I'm gonna get the start comment that I just grabbed here because there are certain things that he's right. James Gunn can't help himself. I mean, he breed swapped the dog because that's the type of dog that James Gunn had, right? I'm not gonna hold that that's not gonna bother me a whole lot. But you are right. He can't help himself. And especially a lot of that kind of feminist commentary has been making its way into Creature Commandos. And that is my biggest concern with this movie is some of that shit slipping into the movie, right? Another thing, too, is that I want to see optimism and hope with Superman because that's the character. You know, he's the guy with his hands on his hips, smiling big, standing up straight. And that's what I want to see. I want to see that character. I want to see that hope and inspiration, the guy doing the right thing, and not with the Zack Snyder stuff where it's Superman moping around. I can't believe I have to save these people. That's not Superman, right? And by no means am I a Superman expert or he is my favorite character because he's not. But I understand the point of the character, and just like they say with the symbol, he is a symbol of hope. Right? Just like the S on his chest. That is the whole point of the character, that in the darkest of times, we have a hero out there that is looking after us, trying to keep, the darkness and the wolves at bay, right? That is the character. And that's what they need to nail in this movie if they want to have a successful Superman movie. And I'm not exactly getting that from the trailer. And again, this is a teaser trailer. There's probably more to it. And I understand them wanting to have the serious tone and whatnot because, James Gunn can come off as being a little jokey. Maybe they overplayed that a bit. And I know Brahma also sent the link, and we'll cover that in a sec. Basically kind of explaining some of the decisions that James Gunn made. But like I said, overall, for me, I like James Gunn as a filmmaker. I think he's a very competent filmmaker. There's a lot of movies that he's made that I've enjoyed, right? Are they like, my top 100? Probably not. But they're definitely movies I would go back and watch. Super, I love that movie. I'll go back and watch that over and over again because I enjoy that movie. And holy shit, talk about that movie taking dark turns at times. Very well done. Obviously, I don't want to see that stuff in Superman. Right. That,
of course,
again, is a concern.
James Gunn's biggest weakness is him refusing to get out of his own way because there will be times where he'll be super comic accurate with things. And then there will be a thing where if he didn't like it from the books, he will change it because he simply wants to. Because in the comic book, Star-Lord's father is Jay's son, not Ego the Living Planet.
Ego. Yeah.
And he changed that because he didn't like that concept. So he just straight up changed that. And because, this dog represents my dog. It's like, well, bro, it's not about you. Like, this is about the story. And I get you're writing the story. And I know he's writing it, but this stuff doesn't need to be about you. You got to tell a Superman story. If, you want to put maybe a sliver of a life experience, which I do believe most writers do to a point. But at the end of the day, it's not about you. It's not.
I think the comments about Crypto, though, about his dog, I don't know that it's necessarily he's putting his dog in it, but I think it's more addressing the personality of Crypto and what kind, how.
Oh yeah, as long as he gets the personality right.
I mean, there's certain things
that's
that
the
change.
more
I don't
important thing.
mind. As long as it makes sense. Like, changing the dog breed doesn't bother me. Changing the color of the dog would, right? Even if it was like the same, even if it was a lab, but it was a black lab instead of a white one, because that's not what the dog is. The dog is a very much contrast with the white fur versus the red cape. I mean, it's that again, it goes back to something being iconic and then changing it for reasons, right?
Well,
at least with James Gunn, he does love comics.
Yes,
and that is important. It's better than picking Jack Schaefer, who hates comic books and views some of the stuff going on with Black Widow as being sexist. I mean, that shit. At least he gives a shit about the source material, right?
Yeah,
and
will
hopefully do it justice.
Yeah, in the Variety article, we've got Gunn being quoted here talking about the kind of story he's going to tell, and he says, and I'm quoting here: "We do have a battered Superman in the beginning. That is our country. I believe in the goodness of human beings, and I believe that most people in this country, despite their ideological beliefs, their politics, are doing their best to get by and be good people, despite what it may seem like to the other side, no matter what that other side might be." This movie is about that. It's about the basic kindness of human beings, and that it can be seen as uncool and under siege by some of the darker voices, or when some of the darker voices are the louder voices. So it sounds like he's saying, look, this story is going to be middle of the road, and we're going to try to inspire people to be nice to each other. And that's I can get behind that. I'm perfectly fine if that's what his approach is going to be.
Could it be possible that Creature Commandos, I mean, and this could be me being overly optimistic on Gunn, could Creature Commandos be his project? This is for better and for worse case. Creature Commandos is the project where he lets off his crazy leftist craziness, and then Superman, because it's a more known property, he has to keep himself in check. Whereas,
also keep in mind when Creature Commandos would have been made compared to when he shot and did Superman.
I don't think he has a choice with Superman.
I agree with you, Tox. I think the issue with Creature Commandos is that I don't know how woke James Gunn is. I don't pay attention to a lot of his
It's not that he's woke.
Used to be very let's just put it this way. I have a good idea of what James Gunn's like. Back in the day, he used to post about politics a lot during Trump's first term. And obviously not in favor of him. However, he has worked with people who are also not like him politically at all. He's worked with Kurt Russell a few times. He's worked with Sylvester Stallone as well.
Ultimately, hang on. I had a point I was leading into.
Go ahead. All right.
It could be a possibility that this is something that the studio wants to do because Warner Brothers has been pushing the shit in the comics right now. They own DC, and it could be the fact that he's like, you know what? I'm going to bulwark the wokeness into the series that probably no one's going to care about or watch or like or whatever. And I'm going to try and keep it away from the rest of the stuff. I don't know. I don't know if that's his intentions or not. That is also a possibility. And
so let me bring, okay. In his statement, there's one place where he uses the word despite. Okay. So in that first part, despite their political ideology. If he had changed that word to no matter, okay, then I would say he authentically wants this to be some kind of healing process or something going on. He is extremely anti-Donald Trump, MAGA movement, all that stuff from there. Okay? And by using the word despite, that automatically tells me he thinks I'm wrong. Because if you look at the word despite as opposed to no matter, and what those are used in context, grammar matters. Okay? That statement was intentionally written that way. He is a creature of making money. He is doing what he needs to make money. Does he have any intention of really wanting this to be some kind of peace across the water and stuff? No, you can't convince me There's a bone in his body that wants to do
money.
that. He wants to make money. And he has to hit a home run with this, or he's fucked at DC.
Yep.
He's got one shot. Okay. And this is all planned. All planned because they see what Top Gun Maverick did, this other stuff and everything. Superman is not a Barbie movie. All right.
Nope.
It's not Wicked. Okay. This is going to have to be a home run. And it's all planned. So I don't believe he's doing this. I'm not going to read anything to that. I don't think his statements are woke. I don't think this stuff woke. I think it's just he wants to make money. He has a different political bent. And he's just going to make money. And I am perfectly fine with that. Make a movie that's going to make money because that means you're going to make it good and you're going to leave your personal bullshit at the door.
Yep.
And that's all we've been asking for.
Some tells me he'll do that with Superman, but he's obviously going off the rails with Creature Commandos.
Well, and who's going to fucking watch it?
And to Tom's point,
Well, that's what I was
that,
saying. Go ahead, Jason.
Well, I was going to say, just to build on your point, it's obvious to me, at least, just from watching the first episode, Creature Commandos was written at a time where they expected Donald Trump to lose.
Yes.
Yep.
And the whole Sons of Themyscira thing was just so completely stupid. But it was obvious what they were doing. And I think that since the election, and I've made this point on our show, since the election, I think there's been a paradigm shift. There's been a swing around the corner, and a lot more people are feeling much more comfortable sitting there saying, I'm a conservative, I'm a Trump supporter because we won. And it was an overwhelming win. And the Democrats and the progressives they're still shell-shocked. How in the world did we lose? They still don't understand the dynamic of that. But I think also to Tox's point, I think he's right. You've got to do something that makes money. And the only way you do that is to appeal to a broad audience on both sides of the aisle. And I don't think it was an accident or a mistake that they used the guitar riff version of the Williams thing. That
was planned. Yes.
And he's talked about, the influence, the impact that Top Gun had on how he's shooting.
Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick was testosterone, heroes, America, loyalty and friendship, and all of the women were sexy and attractive and capable, and they had agency, and they weren't in your face lecturing you about how the women
could do this job too. Yeah,
I think he's seeing that and saying that made $1.5 billion. We're going to go do that.
Yep, because if he does this right, and he doesn't do any of this fucking shit like the crazy shit that happened with those chicks after Wicked, because they've lost that movie probably $450 million by that crazy shit.
Yeah.
He's not going to do any of that thing with here because he's not dumb. Okay? And whatever James Gunn is not, when it comes to making movies, he's not dumb. He's seeing what's successful. They need to have a winner with this. They need to stop hemorrhaging money in Hollywood, and they need to get people to want to come back to this entertainment because they pissed everybody off. And they got to come and do this. They pissed him off with all the Superman stuff. Everybody's still pissed off at the wasting of Henry Cavill in The Witcher, in the Superman movies, in James Bond.
That poor man can't get a break.
Because of 2016 and all that political crap, we have lost movies that could have been all-time classics with Henry Cavill in them as a good actor who cared about this stuff. That Witcher show could have been phenomenal.
Could have been.
If they'd have listened to him, and as soon as it started going off the rails and him knowing the character so well, and he said, I don't know if I can do, you knew what they were doing.
Well, and I'm about halfway through the first novel, The Witcher, fucking loving the series.
Every cent of it, aren't you?
Yeah, it's fucking very good. I'm wishing I read this sooner. And it really does kind of show you how they did Geralt dirty in the series, right?
Yeah. And you can see why Henry Cavill was so pissed off about it. And the thing is, you never saw him get angry.
No.
Never saw him get upset. You never sit and go after anybody. What a gentleman he was. And that's the word I will use with him. What a gentleman he was in public with that stuff and things from there. And I see why he and Gina Carano dated for as long as they did. I see that. Right?
I mean, he makes me slide off my chair.
I know he does. I knew you would like that. To see him in jeans playing volleyball with other guys, I think Matt would.
Bro.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think too,
Anal leakage.
You listen to some of the stuff that Gunn said, because he's basically said we're not going to green light a movie until until the script is finished. And how
Smart.
many times have we gone through? Not just the DC stuff, but Star Wars and some of the other stuff where they go into production not having a finished script. We don't know what the third act is going to be, but we got a release date.
It's basically all the MCU in reality.
And when he sits there and says, we didn't originally plan for Supergirl to be the next one, but the script is done and everybody likes it, so this is the one we're going to do. That tells me they're paying attention to the details on the production pipeline, as well as what kind of stories they're going to tell. Their process is sounds good, at least.
It does. So I'm going to say, before we get to another Jen said I was thinking the same things, Toxic Man Flu. So that means doing pretty good. Preach Talks, that's great. And then the exact next thing in chat to this was Mom Spaghetti from...
my favorite is let me see if I can find it. You
said one shot.
It was like the
one shot, baby.
Right.
Mom Spaghetti.
Anyway, all right, Becca, we're going to take a quick super chat detour. And
this is very true. This is very true.
All right.
Be my wingman.
So to the Raptor for $2 says send an email. Merry Christmas to all. Yeah, I saw. We'll definitely get those.
Thank you, SFX.
Grand Cast for $1.99 says nice departure from Snyder though. Big upgrade. LOL.
Oh God! I mean, that's
absolutely
close. I mean,
Night
Zack
and day.
Snyder's movies were the epitome of absolute trash when it comes to DC.
Rebel Moon is the greatest thing that's ever been created.
I think the concept is interesting. That movie's
he just screwed it up.
Well, Rebel Moon.
Oh, Magnum Norris, how you doing, buddy?
Conceptually, I thought some of the things that I did enjoy. I just thought the movie was crap.
Right.
Mag Norris for $5 says, I am alone when I say the superhero movies were getting old 5 to 7 years ago. It feels like a dead horse is now a rotting corpse. Disney's fault. You're not wrong, dude. A lot of shit post Endgame is where things went off the rails with a lot of this stuff. And it's because they were focusing on ideology rather than telling a good, entertaining story. And that's reason why we're in the state now with Hollywood.
The overall quality has dropped. Yeah.
Yep.
You gotta also keep in mind the whole comment about like I'm alone, and I don't mean to sound like I'm like insulting the guy, but when you say am I alone, there's always gonna be someone who's gonna be with you. And I know people who were checked out even at their face who not because like they thought like the movies are bad, it's because they feel like their miles had just run up. And everyone's going to have their point where they check out. It just happens. And, if you're just not with it anymore, that's fine. Some people are going to look at it from a quality issue. Some people are just going to look at it as a too much issue. Some people are going to see it as both.
Well, there's something that Tom Brevoort always says, which he's right and wrong on. Every new beginning is a jumping on point.
Yes.
The issue is it's also a jumping off point.
Yeah,
and that is the one thing that Brevoort gets wrong, is that when you do shit like this, people are going to fucking take off.
Yeah.
But the new people coming in that are jumping on, it's like, yeah, sure. Maybe you'll get a few. We saw,
and it's never amount to the numbers that you had before.
Yeah. It's like with Doctor Who, when the drag queen basically said, yes, we're going to lose all the bigots, but for every bigot we lose, we're going to gain 5 new viewers.
That's
okay,
right.
So
it was true. It was 5 new viewers in total. They lost millions of bigots.
There is a thing in sales. It is easier to keep a customer than it is to gain a new one, and that is the biggest issue that a lot of these companies, be it gaming, be it Hollywood, be it streaming, that they don't understand. If you already have a customer and you start pissing them off and you lose them, you can't. It's oh yeah, we'll find a replacement. It's no big deal, right? We had the modern audience we're trying to key to, right? Wrong. Okay. You have to take a lot of effort and a lot of work to go and get a new customer. So it's a lot easier to keep your existing fan base happy than it is to establish a new one.
Do is
But
you
they're dumb.
maintain your
Fucking
fan
sales
base
101.
while finding creative ways of expanding while still trying to be true to what you have currently. You could pull off that balance if you're smart about it, but they thought, well, we could just replace this audience because this is the new audience. And they assumed that audience was going to translate. And obviously, it did not happen at all. And they'd have beyond more than enough time to see if the results would amount to anything. And it's clear that the results did not. And yet they kept insisting that was going to work. And now it seems like reality finally hit them. I hate that it took politics for it to happen, but it seems like the 2024 election has actually made them pay attention that, oh, crud, we are not this, law of the land that we have hyped ourselves up to being. We are actually the actual bubble.
Yep.
Well, it goes back to what Andrew Breitbart had said. Politics is downstream of culture, and I could also make the point that Bob Chapek was right when he basically said, "Hey, Walt Disney Company should not be getting into politics with this whole Florida thing." He was right.
He was right.
And he still gave.
Comics makes a good point here, and I want to expand on it because not only is it easier to keep your customer, but if you lose the customer and they complain, you have to work that much harder to overcome the negative word of mouth because that's going to travel a whole lot further than people saying nice things about you.
Well, it's because what you, at the end of the day, end up creating are ambassadors of ill will, right?
Yep.
That's what we are on YouTube, right? Complaining about this stuff. We are ambassadors of ill will to your product because we were your customer. You pissed us off. You chased us off. You basically said, "There's the door. Don't come back. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out." And basically, we turned around and said, "Well, fuck you." You can see the finger. Fuck you. I'm basically going to be an ambassador of ill will to your product. That is the reason why entertainment is in the state that it is because that's what they did. They created the ambassadors of ill will. Jason Sandberg for $2 says the trailer makes me very optimistic. Good.
No, it seems like there are some people I've noticed that are very optimistic, and I do believe those people. They don't feel like people who are saying it because it's a new thing and I have to be excited. Like I know him, I think Graham Nolan. They all seem really Dean Cain as well. They all seem really hopeful that this movie's going to deliver. And it's clear that Warner Brothers is actually confident in this movie. And we haven't seen Warner Brothers be confident in a movie in a long time. They're bringing in people, other bigwigs to actually, get a look at the movie months before it comes out. That's some confidence that we have not heard about in a long time from Warner Bros. And from maybe it'll be good. And this movie needs to deliver, not just because we need a Superman movie to deliver again, because we do, but honestly, Marvel. If Marvel wants to have a future, you need that Superman movie to do well as well. And this is the closest shot.
I hate to break it to you, Nick. Marvel doesn't have a future.
It probably doesn't. But I'm just saying, you get what I'm getting at, though.
Yeah.
Like, the closest thing to it is going to be because of this movie.
Yep.
So, no, other than that, yes, the Marvel movies outside Deadpool and Wolverine, which is an anomaly. We said it before. Getting fan bases is very tough because once you lose them, you'll get some back, but it'll never be that golden age of what it once was.
Agreed.
Marvel brought into their own press when they had their phenomenal success with Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3. They said, "Okay, well, we can do anything." I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy was proof of that. You could just put a Marvel Studios logo on it, and people went to go see it. Then nobody knew who they were.
Not anymore.
And then Phase 4 and 5 happened. They said, "Okay, well, now we can do anything."
Yeah. Whether
it was studio pressure or Feige or somebody, they said, "Oh, let's do girl boss power." And blew the whole thing up. They're going to have to work really hard past Captain America World Economic Forum to get that audience back.
Agreed. Women ruin everything.
All right. Rolling the wretched for $5. This is a test. YouTube does not want my money tonight. It looks like they fixed the glitch. Because Roland coming in with the big 50. I think I found the issue. My worry on Superman is all the characters being introduced, and Gay Gardner makes Mad look straight. Ian, I sent you a message on Elon Musk's platform. Yeah, sorry, dude. I need to reply back to you. The answer is I don't know.
Also, I'm still way gayer than that guy.
Oh, hold
Grand
on.
Casper 199 says, I want Martian Manhunter. He needs the redemption. Fucking A, dude. I'm totally blanking on the guy who passed away recently. He was in the John Wick movies.
Lance Reddick.
Lance Reddick, thank
He
you.
would have been great as John Johns. He's a fantastic actor.
He did voice work, I believe, for Martian Manhunter and some of the DC animated stuff.
Did he?
I recall correctly. I think.
That's like dream casting right there.
He honestly would make a great Martian Manhunter, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. He's got the height. He's got that perfect voice too. Because Green Lantern, I'm sorry, not Green Lantern. Martian Manhunter's got to have that deep, really smooth, serious voice. And Lance Reddick had that. And I'm telling you, he's a fantastic actor as well. He fit all the criteria. He fit the bill, and yet somehow that never happened.
You know what's funny though, is that Martian Manhunter was not black before Smallville.
That's true. But yet he works so well because he's a shapeshifter. So
and
you
he's
can
never been black in the comic
idea.
book.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just talking about him as Martian Manhunter. I'm not talking about in his human form. I just think that Lance Reddick has just a great presence about him. You know, his voice, and he's a tall dude. He looks kind of weird. He makes a great villain or antagonist. It's a shame we lost him. But he's had some pretty fucking iconic roles, and I loved him in Fringe. That was a good TV series.
I believe it. I hear he's good in what's that show called? The Wire. I never watched it. I hear he's great
in The Wire. Yeah,
The Wire is one of the greatest series.
I didn't realize that he was
TV.
in that. I have to go watch that now. All right, The Troll for $5. Damien. In a zillion of the DC animated movies, Tim Drake was the best Robin. I agree with you. Before they made him a pole smoker. Yeah.
Robin. Tim Drake actually had fans. And that was at a time when comics actually sold. Damian Wayne, people who watch animated movies are like more of the diehards. They're not seen by the wide mainstream. Yeah. There's still a lot of people in the wide mainstream who still don't even know who Tim Drake is. That's how, once again, the Robin concept is the mainstream. A lot of people still think there's only been one Robin. It's been Dick Grayson.
Yeah. Yep. Primark Vulcan for $4.99 says, Tox, the last time we had a cat in a superhero movie, Nick Fury canonical backstory and credibility was unalived. Yes.
Yes. Well, technically that was a flurkin, which is not really a cat. Okay. It's a space cat thingy.
Mother flurkin.
It's a mother flurkin. And there were also the Skrulls, and that, that had a plank of wood in a superhero suit with no ass trying to act as well. So
did
Freaky show up in the Supergirl series at all? I think he did he? Streaky the cat?
I have no idea.
In the
I watched like some of the first season. I was like, this show's retarded. I'm out of here.
We're not fighting you, TZ Burton. Saying
do you want to pull up this chat?
Die Hard is a Christmas movie. 100% agree with that.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree with you.
We are going to be watching Christmas Vacation next Tuesday on the member stream. All right, so I will get all the emails out, all that stuff, and things from there. It's been a rough couple of months at work for me, but we'll get back to that. But Christmas Vacation next Tuesday.
Good movie, really good movie. It stays beautifully.
Not only is Die Hard a Christmas movie, it is a Hallmark Christmas movie.
You're not wrong, sir.
It is.
All right, Eric K for $2. A reason why they call Superman a Boy Scout.
Yes.
Are you wanting a reason, or it's the reason why they call a Boy Scout. Yeah.
The hope.
Yes, the hope. Indeed.
Your mother's apple pie. He is Americana. He is tradition. He's why we embrace the culture that we have. And that is something, granted, it was a while ago when James Gunn got the directorial part. He did say this Superman was going to be about truth, justice, in the American way. He did say that was the word.
He still should be deported, though.
Speaking of we're boned, that's another thing that they removed from the comic book, which was fucking stupid.
What?
Truth, Justice, American Way.
Oh yeah, they moved that, and well, even right when the 52 was gone, they revoked right before the 52 started. they had Superman denounce his American citizenship as well.
Superman 900, or actually,
and then they tried for a few years reverting course with the Rebirth, which was actually good. Every week you had a good Superman comic between Superman and Action. And then along came Bendis, letting you know that he was going to come. And they accept those that come you're not looking for.
Bendis is coming all over Superman.
Bendis.
God.
Yep. That
What
guy.
a tragic. What a tragedy. I couldn't believe I was living in a timeline where I was reading new Superman comics and liking them for 2 years. And then that bastard took it away from me. And I remember when I heard he was coming to DC, all I could think to myself was,
hey, but Nick, it's okay. They replaced him
Superman
with Dan Slott.
I heard.
For those of you who don't know who Dan Slott is, he is probably one of the worst, most toxic comic book creators out there. Oh my God. He is like legitimately an awful human being. He has,
really is.
He has impersonated people on forums to get them in trouble. It's bad. He is a shitty human being, hands down. Who do you think is worse, Nick? Him or Mark Waid?
Oh God. I'd say Slott, because Slott has more crap comics and he's an awful personality. Waid at least has some good comics and understands how to write characters, even though he is downright psychotic. Like, he has had a great Captain America run. He has done great Superman stuff. He even did a good Black Widow comic. He's obviously there's more obvious, more mainstream stuff like Kingdom Come. So he can actually write characters and heroes. And even though I didn't read his stuff in the last 5 years, I've heard from friends of mine who still read modern DC. Apparently his recent stuff is good. And I'm just like, maybe it is. I just still refuse to read it because Mark Waid wrote it. And
okay, all right. I have to agree with Ninja Master here. Yes, Waid is legit crazy. He is.
Oh yeah, he is.
But Slott is petty. Okay, Mark Waid has not gone and tried to ruin people like Dan Slott has. I mean, he's been warring with Doug Ernst for well over a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, decades.
Yeah. Waid, though.
Didn't he send the black flowers to that one?
He did. Yeah,
that one family
shut down. Yeah, he sent a black wreath to someone right after his wife died and their company died.
Yep, I can't remember all the details. I remember that.
He got the contract killed for Richard Meyer and. I
was gonna say the worst thing that he's done is try to get Richard Meyer's book canceled.
Well, he got it canceled. He got the contract canceled from
completely removed
and done.
Yeah.
Antarctic Press and Kickstarter.
Yeah, I would say Waid is just as petty as Dan Slott, and more obvious and more visible about it. Slott, is posting stuff on social media, whatever. Waid actively campaigns to get people canceled and their livelihood damaged. I think Waid
Slott's done the same thing though. Okay, they're just as bad. They're both shitty people.
Waid
it's a tie, folks.
Yeah, it's a tie. Yeah. Waid actually can write. Slott cannot.
Yeah. Yep. That was certainly a fucking shit show. Anyway, Tom, do you want to bounce or whatnot, or do you want to stick around and continue to chime in on occasion? Or maybe he's
bounced already.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about Creature Commandos.
I'll have to bounce though, unfortunately. So
okay,
I gotta go. And I haven't seen Creature Commandos either. So
you're not missing anything.
No, well, sounds like it, but yeah. Well, it's been a good discussion though. It's been interesting to have this new Superman to talk about and go into that. So I'm hopeful, but also skeptical as we are about everything now. So we'll see. But anyway, I got nothing particularly to promote, so I will see you guys next time. Have a good night, everybody.
We will see you out if I can find the.
He's waiting to slide out.
I know he is.
He's really patient about
here it is.
He's really
it's
nice.
Been real.
tell me the sheep were gone.
They didn't watch the Gucci creatures.
All right. And Tom bailed too.
And the
Boom!
final four here.
All right. Creature Commandos. Only a third of the episode was good. They actually got into the Weasel's backstory. And I have to say, it was pretty well done. It definitely tugged at the heartstrings a bit towards the end, but they had another episode where they had Frankenstein in it, and they just fucking humiliate the shit out of the character. It's fucking awful. But the stuff I did like is that allegedly Weasel killed 8 kids, and that's the reason why he's in prison and whatnot. And what you find out is that there was the school, and the kids find him hiding in a bush, and they kind of like lure him out with candy, and they befriend him, and he's like playing with these kids. And this goes on for like a period of time. And then there's like this guy, he's kind of like, I don't know if he's like a mountain man kind of guy, but he lives in a cabin. He sees the Weasel, freaks out thinking it's a monster, because technically he is, and calls the cops and grabs his shotgun and goes to save the children from the evil monster, because he's playing with the kids, and he's like, they're wrestling with them, and it looks like he's being vicious, and that's not actually the case. And what happens is for some reason the door to the school is unlocked. The kids decide to go inside. They go and break into their teacher's drawer and find their grades and a bottle of whiskey. And so they kind of like continue to play and end up in the boiler room. And this is where things start falling apart when the kids find some matches and starts playing with matches. One of them throws something and causes the kid to drop the bottle of whiskey, and it breaks all over the place. And then they end up dropping the matches, lighting the whiskey on fire, because, I understand alcohol is flammable depending on the proof, but that seemed a bit contrived. But anyway, so the guy with a shotgun shows up. He shoots at the Weasel, but hits. This is the thing that's kind of weird. It's like a boiler, but apparently it's a boiler filled with gasoline, and it hits the flames and causes this big explosion, setting the entire school on fire. So the Weasel is trying to go and save these kids, doing what he can. And then, you have the guy with the shotgun shooting at him. The cops show up and they start shooting at him, and he's doing what he can to try and save these children. So things get really bad, and he only manages to save one of the kids, which is this little girl. And he's like trying to drag her out of the school, but ends up getting shot by the cops multiple times, dropping the little girl, and then the roof kind of caves in, burying her, causing her to die. And so it ends up, the Weasel, I'm not gonna say he's framed. It's just that he's innocent in all this. And it was actually very sad and really well done. And it was like the best, part of the series so far, but like legit, everything else was fucking garbage. Oh my God.
Yeah, everything else was absolutely trash, and it's even worse trash than the trash that came before. Usually, I hear people say about our corner of YouTube that everything is the new worst thing ever.
Yeah,
and I actually don't say that statement. I'll just say if it sounds bad, or if it's bad but not that bad. The stuff that's been on this show has actually been that bad outside of that Weasel storyline. I had one minor complaint with the Weasel storyline outside of him actually being 100% in it. Not a sympathetic villain. He actually did nothing wrong. Like absolutely full stop, nothing wrong. I don't want to turn this into a cop thing or a good pro cop, anti cop. But the cops blew it off. I'm just like, cops hear stupid things all the time, and they still attend to it because they still have to check out, even if it sounds stupid, because you never know, even if it sounds stupid. And I don't like this. Cops are completely like incompetent, don't know shit. And then when the cops saw the Weasel, because they thought he was a killer, they obviously pinned him down while still totally ignoring the girl who they had a chance to totally save. come on. They had a chance of saving the girl. If you're gonna do anything, you let the weasel get away. You save the girl because her life is in that situation. Her life is more important because she's the child.
I mean,
And
I agree.
like
It's
that
definitely
was
because
bad.
plot,
That was
but
bad. Like I get it. Like, and I don't know if that was just like I don't know if that was Gunn putting in a good cop like cop
I don't think
or
I didn't get the impression that he
maybe
was
it wasn't, but
dunking on cops. I think because the way they set it up, and you see him like because he has like the dressed little girl in his mouth, and he's like he does look sinister with the teeth
oh, he
being
did, yeah.
bared and the
From their
glowing eyes,
perspective,
and I
which
can
like,
see
yeah.
this is a threat. We have to eliminate the threat before we go save the child, which is typically what you have to do in those types of situations. So I don't see them as shitting on the cops, right? It's more the
It sure made
circumstance
him
of
look stupid, though.
yeah.
Outside that one angle, you're right. The cops did. If I had seen that myself from that perspective, I could have swore that he may have done the deed,
Mhm.
even though he didn't. And we know that. I can understand that angle, but the other two angles, I was like, really, you really have to make him that stupid? And I would know, like I've lived once again a decade in the burbs, a decade in state, and I've heard good cops and bad cops in unison say that if we have a call, we have to respond to it, even as dumb as it may sound, because we have to say we at least tried to acknowledge the problem.
Right.
And that was just like they're gonna blow that off. Guy sounds crazy. That's all the more reason why you check it. If the guy just sounds like he's off his rocker. I just thought that was just like, come on, that's a little dumb. But I get maybe you're right. Maybe it was done because plot. They needed to have that there. It was plot armor for a story. But other than that, though, it was a really well told story, and I'm glad the weasel is actually innocent, like completely, because that did make me a little uneasy seeing him at times, knowing what he had supposedly done. So there was a nice set of vindication there.
Mhm.
But dude, that when you take out that part of it, so that was probably 30-40% of the episode, give or take. The rest of it was trashier than the trashiest trash
Yeah.
ever.
Mhm.
Especially if you guys, for the 10 of you in the chat who watch this, if you thought the first 2 or 3 episodes were bad, the stuff outside of the weasel is so much worse, especially with Frankenstein.
Oh, I fucking hate that shit. It's bad.
Oh,
That shit really pisses me off. The third episode I found to be less offensive. It was just a bit ham-fisted with certain things because I get that GI Robot fought Nazis, but he's like obsessed with killing Nazis, and I'm thinking, who fucking lets a robot walk around with basically a machine gun for arms and still has ammo in it? I mean, there are things in it that are just kind of like are dumb. But at the same time, you can't say this is a TV show for kids. It's not.
That's
because
fine.
there's some very adult shit in it. There was something in this episode that I was like, wow, it's like they went there in this cartoon. But yeah, it's not good. The series is not good. Minus this one bit of character development for Weasel. This show is fucking stupid as hell. Yeah, obviously they're trying to set up some stuff for the bride. They're basically playing flag for the fool in this because he hooks up with the princess in the was like the first or second episode, and she's obviously playing him. And then the third episode, we find out that I can't remember the Themysciran's name. Cersei, thank you. She's trying to kill the princess because she has visions and basically sees her taking control of the world for whatever reason and end up like conquering the world. And she's like this big threat. And of course she has flag wrapped around her finger. So now they basically sent the creature commandos back to whatever country they basically were at to go kill the princess because Cersei gave Amanda Waller the vision that she had, basically this Armageddon that she causes. So, yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah, it's an awful show, and I outside of the Weasel subplot of this one particular episode and the animation style, which I find is pretty cool. everything else about the show is not good. Even a lot of the voice performances are not good too.
Yeah.
Like the voice of David Harbour as Frankenstein
David Harbour
is
yeah.
awful, and I like David Harbour in Stranger Things, but as this,
I actually liked him as Hellboy.
Oh, I never saw it, so I couldn't tell you. But assume that
I got a lot of shit for that too, saying they liked him as Hellboy. Yeah.
maybe he's fine in that. I'll give the benefit of the doubt in that, but in this, it is not good. It's absolutely crap. And the bride of Frankenstein, she's awful too. And then once again, I get GI Robot. I get the idea of it. I've read some of the stuff. I'm not as familiar with the character, but that character is not as overly annoying by it. It's like, yes, it's part of his program. That's his MO, and he does sputter off. But the way they go about in this show, it's kind of like the whole you don't have to find a vegan, the vegan will find you.
Yeah.
That's what they do at GI Robot here. It is like it's when like to a very extremely far leftist, no matter where they look, there are Nazis Yahtzees everywhere. That's what GI Robot literally is. Like,
yeah, it's like
more measured in the books. The few books I read, he's a bit more measured about it. It's like, yeah, that's his one MO, but he's nowhere near this annoying.
He literally asks everybody, "Are you a Nazi?"
Yeah. And the same way, like Frankenstein, yes, he's always had a love for the bride. That's true. But he was not a bitch like this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude.
He's a total simp. That's the thing that makes it so awful.
It was. I'm like, I'm only doing this for comics and for this show because, man, I actually forgot that this episode came out until I looked at our messages. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay.
Thank God it's only 30 minutes.
Right. It is a good thing that these episodes are all under 30 minutes and there's only 3 more left. So this is already going to be a distant memory in 3 weeks.
Well, and the funny thing about it, comparing it to like the shit we've been watching on Disney Plus, this is a far superior show, even though it's not good. Mm-hmm. There are definitely moments in it that are a lot better. It's just like, if they were just to cut out the fucking social commentary garbage, and it would be a much better show.
Yeah, it'd be better, but still wouldn't be saved. Like you're like once again, you still have Sim Frankenstein.
Well, no, I mean that's part of the social commentary or social messaging garbage, right? It is making basically they kind of made Frankenstein this incel character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see what you're getting with that. Yeah,
you had the Sons of Themyscira, which is like the anti-woke crowd that are a bunch of fucking morons. So basically their take on the people that are against the woke stuff. Mm-hmm. It's just like, dude, come on. It's like you don't need to do this. You don't need to have this kind of. You don't need to shit on your fucking audience. That is the ultimate issue. Is that you are literally mocking the people that buy your stuff. Okay, it's like when She-Hulk was doing this stuff, but it was funnier in She-Hulk, right? Because it was so. It's like, I can't believe you put Doomcock in your show, right? Because you're that fucking petty and stupid. This is it's like that one episode of Blue Beetle where they have the basically it's Jeremy Griggs from Geeks and Gamers. It's like, dude,
yeah, the comic.
It's like, why do this? Okay, you're already in a position where you're losing money. All you're doing, and I'm totally fine with this, by the way, is you're just throwing a bunch of money in a large pile, dumping gasoline on it, and throwing the world's largest match at it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's it. Okay, that's what you're doing.
Remember what I said. It really does feel like, just from what you guys are saying too, and looking at the first one, this was written when they thought Trump would lose.
Right.
And if that's
when they thought they had the moral high ground, so to speak, I guess.
Yeah, we're gonna win because we're better and we're smarter and we're right. And turns out they're not. So they're going to have to pivot. There's going to have to be, but this one was already in the pipeline. It's done.
Oh yeah,
yes.
It has been.
But I think we're still going to see a bunch of shifting of gears, like with Disney and Pixar pulling the transgender story.
That was shocking.
I am actually surprised about that.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more of that. I think the companies, retail and studios, TV studios, film studios, traditional publishing, the comic books and video games are going to take a little while because they got stuff in the pipeline.
I can't
I think
believe
we're going to start
Spider-Man
seeing.
didn't hire Justina Ireland to write their book. I thought they were going to do it. Turns out they didn't.
Yeah,
I can't believe
think
they
we're going to
pivoted
start
on it.
seeing them pull back from a lot of this stuff because they know it doesn't sell.
Yeah. Well, for games, it's probably going to take like another 10 years to get out of the hole, in my opinion, or at least maybe another 5 to 8. We'll see.
Yeah.
Movies, obviously, they have a quicker turnaround time. They can make a movie in a month and have it out 6 months to a year later. Video games, we all saw the announcement for Intergalactic, which has been 4 years in development so far. They've released yet another uglified female-looking character, and androgynous female character is the best way of putting it. Gender ambiguity is a theme in modern video games right now, which is a shame. But that stuff's going to take a lot longer to turn around.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've seen, Mark Kern, Grums over on Twitter has been talking about this a lot. I've seen a lot of chatter because of the whole Sweet Baby Inc. thing.
Mm-hmm.
It does seem like the game companies are either responding to the backlash in a way that's a positive move for them, or they're doubling down. There's no middle ground. It's either we're going to go all in on this DEI stuff, or we're going to sit there and go, you know what, they're not going to buy this game, we're going to back off. Because I've seen, there was one, I can't remember who it was. There was one that was basically saying, okay, we're just going to put the game out, and any of the rest of this stuff, maybe we'll put it in later in a DLC.
That was BioWare.
Was that BioWare? Okay.
Yeah. They were talking about Mass Effect 5.
Okay.
And the idea behind it is the reason why they want to put it in, and we talked about this on Monday. The reason why they want to patch it in later is because what they want to do is go, hey, look, they're not going to say we have a game that's woke free, right? What they're going to do is present a game that doesn't have any wokeness in it. And then they'll release the wokeness as DLC, either through like skins. They talked about like they called it bubblegum skins, which is pride colors or trans colors.
What are the odds? And I'm not a gamer, so I'm asking this question legitimately from a position of ignorance here. What are the odds that BioWare would sit there and go, okay, we're not going to put the woke stuff in the first thing, and we'll say we're going to put it in the DLCs to keep our activist employees happy and quiet. We're going to put it back there, and then they don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the easiest thing to do would be say, we're not doing this anymore. And if people complain, you say you either get on board or you're out. That's how you handle this. Okay. You don't fucking say, well, we're going to placate our employees. You know what? Okay, here's the situation. Obviously, people don't care for the stuff. We're going to stop doing it. Oh, you don't like it? There's the fucking door.
It wasn't. What is the possibility to do that after the game sells? Look, it sold all of this stuff because we didn't put this stuff in it. So we're not going to put this stuff in it. If you don't like it, leave.
I think the issue is that a lot of these companies have bought into the ideology. A good example is CD Projekt Red. We know about the ESG stuff. And like I said, I'm on the fence with CD Projekt Red because despite the fact that we are aware of the ESG garbage that they released, and it could be the fact that the DLC for Phantom Liberty was already in development, but that was still good DLC. They did a lot to fix Cyberpunk 2077. There's a possibility we could be getting more stuff from another company that they're working with because they just released a new patch for the game that expanded a bunch of stuff. No new missions yet, but they just expanded functionality, which they don't have to do, by the way, at this point, because the game is quote unquote fixed, done, and out the door. Yeah. But they're still making updates to it, and that's good. So it's a possibility Witcher 4 could be good, or it could be woke garbage. We won't know until we actually see it.
You said on your last video how there's talks about what if we try to cater both sides. Here's how you actually solve it, and this is so much simpler than they make it be. why don't you make games that are free of the message, DLC and all, and then make games for your imaginary modern audience, and let's just assume that they respond to it. Make more of that for them. Leave their shit there and let those who don't want it in that corner. And whichever one sells, if there's a case where one of them sells and the other doesn't, well, then you lean in on that. Like, this is such a simple concept, but they think they're really concerned that all they care about is people who are saying bad things on Twix and Instagram. It's just like, okay, where are these people actually buying and supporting your game? Like, a lot of people rant on the internet all the time. And that's obviously not lost on me. We all do it to a point as well. But a lot of us are also their paying customers. That's where they need to understand that the internet is not also the biggest set case of how you gauge your customers and where they're at. You need to look at where the sales are and try to figure out how many of these people are actually playing the game, enthusiastic, non-enthusiastic. What can we do to course correct that rather than worry about what people strictly say online?
Yeah. I want to get this from Scorching Flames because this is a good point. It says, but the game Exodus has ex-BioWare and Naughty Dog employees back in the heyday of the two studios working on Exodus. Yeah, and Exodus actually looks pretty good, and you can definitely see the Mass Effect influence from the former BioWare people. So, yeah, I mean, Exodus has the potential to be a very good game and a potential replacement for Mass Effect. This is the biggest issue that he highlighted is that a lot of these game studios that made games that we know and love aren't there anymore, right? Even with CD Projekt Red, the people who worked on Cyberpunk, the original Cyberpunk, are gone. I mean, granted, they had a different team that worked on Phantom Liberty. Happened to be a very good DLC, in my opinion. Very fun, good story. I enjoyed it immensely. Had some, great voice acting talent in it with Idris Elba. He was great in it. So yeah, it's like if you get these people, doing the stories for The Witcher and whatnot, and again, I understand there's a lot of contention with Ciri being a Witcher. The main thing that people need to understand when it comes to the Witcher game series is that it doesn't follow the books at all. Okay. It has the characters. It has, it does pay respect to the source material, from what I'm aware of. But
isn't it a sequel to the books?
I don't know if it's a sequel. I've heard that it is potentially a sequel. But there's certain things that they basically have just kind of like, I'm not gonna say they're not acknowledging, like specifically when it comes to Ciri. But I don't know. We'll see, right? I don't know. Like I said, I'm just getting into The Witcher. I don't know the lore like a lot of people out there. I am aware of the fact that people basically said that yes, women can't survive the Trial of the Grasses.
I read,
and the fact that honestly, Ciri as a character is already OP and technically doesn't need to do it.
Well, I read somewhere that the way they could get around it was the fact that she's half elf.
Half elf.
I don't know anything.
Or it has elven blood in it.
So,
in her.
And maybe that's the entry point into allowing her to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know anything about any of it, so I'm a parrot at this point.
It's Ciri's a different monster in the books and all that stuff and things from there. You'll find that out comics as you read all that stuff. Totally different. And what the Witchers were and all that stuff. So think of the Witchers, an industrial. So remember, what happened during the Industrial Revolution, right? There were a bunch of people and all, and we got power and all those things and all those jobs and all those craftsmen, all that stuff, the individual work and all that stuff. And okay. That's basically what's kind of happening here with the Witchers. The Witchers are old school. Used to be a whole bunch of them. They would go out, kill the monsters, all those things from that. They were very good at their job. They killed a lot of them, the elves and all that stuff and things that happened from there. And then they're dying out. They forgot how to make themselves and all that kind of stuff and things from there. That's all stuff that's in the shows. It's all stuff that's in the games and things from there. And Ciri comes along, and this half-elven blood that she has and is going to be different, and is being trained as a Witcher. So it's like taking a half human, half dragon and training them in the Blade Singer style of an elf. Okay. And they're just going to be so much better at it because of the genetics of how they're made.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So
and this is something that Mark is saying. It says humans do the trials so they can take the potions. People, sorry, I just checked.
That's it right there.
People need the potions so they can kill monsters. Ciri doesn't need the potions.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
but she did need to unlock her power. And I think that they did that right in the show. She had to learn these things. So,
yeah. Like I said, so far, I mean, like I said, the first book, Tox, you know this, it's basically all of the short stories that have been compiled into this book. The one I just got done with, because I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically this queen hires Geralt to go and kill this knight. Essentially, it's like, yes, I'm hiring you to kill somebody. He's like, I don't do assassination jobs. And what it is that the king died, but in his past, he got injured and this person helped him. And there's some like weird, tricky language that they play with, which I think is really interesting. It's like, give me the thing that you don't expect, which is basically his wife is pregnant and gives birth to a daughter. And so he shows up 15 years later to claim his prize. And then it turns out that he's cursed. So when he takes his helmet off, he's like some sort of beast. I'm kind of like picturing an otter in a suit of armor. Right. And then when the bell tolls midnight, he becomes a human again. So from midnight to 6 a.m., he's human. And then from 6 a.m. to midnight, he's basically this kind of creature. And I really enjoyed that story. It was really fascinating. It kind of highlights the whole thing with, Geralt and his morality and not wanting to get involved with political situations.
Right.
And he kind of let things just kind of play out. Because like the queen's like looking at him, like, do your job, kill him. And he's like, no.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Geralt is a different animal.
Yes.
From that stuff in there. And that the Witchers saw things differently. It's a good book. The short stories and things together, they come together. It's very much in the vein of how Sherlock Holmes came about with multiple stories, short stories and things there.
Right.
And then there was The Hound of the Baskervilles, the big book, and all that kind of stuff in there. And The Witcher's kind of like that. I really wish that they would have let Henry Cavill produce it and go and do that. I have a lot of hope for Warhammer 40K because he loves this and he knows how to make movies.
Right.
So when you take someone that really loves this stuff and they know how to make movies, you have the chance to be good if they have the right budget. So that's James Gunn says that he loves this stuff. And let's see. He does know how to make movies. Let's see what he does. So.
Yep. Agreed. Yep. We got 2 more topics left. Maybe we'll speed round them. Let's talk about Timcast and the rumors around the Daily Wire purchasing them.
He eviscerated some poor liberal on his show today.
Who? Tim Pool?
Tim Pool. Yeah. Benny Johnson posted it and some others did too, but he just destroyed this kid about J6 and all this and just laid out how the kid's a fascist. But he looked like he was ready there. Yesterday he had Ron Coleman on there, and Ron Coleman is just hard to watch. Culture takes a long time to say a sentence, right? Ron Coleman takes an age. So if Ron Coleman were a character in Lord of the Rings, he would be an Ent. And it would just
I didn't see
painful.
last night's episodes or today's yet. I'll probably
Tim sat there during that and just let the other 3 there take the show, and Tim was just sitting there watching it, and I couldn't believe he'd done that he just sat there. Normally he's in control of his show, and it just looked like he was done with this shit. So
I don't know. I mean, everybody has off days. My take on this, I don't know Tim, obviously. But my general impression of him, based on talking to Krigler and listening to Krigler talk about him and other stuff, I just don't see Tim selling off unless he's wanting to retire and be done with everything. I don't see him selling a show. I really don't. Right. I think the man is too much of a control freak to sell off a show. And if he does, there's going to have to be like certain things that Daily Wire is going to have to understand because. Obviously, Daily Wire is conservative. Tim is not. He's very much a lefty, obviously not far left progressive. Obviously, there's areas where they're going to agree on and areas where they're going to disagree. But I just don't see him turning over the keys to the kingdom to the Daily Wire. And I could be wrong on this, completely wrong. But this is just my opinion. He just doesn't seem like the type that would cede power to another group.
I don't see that happening either. I just don't with the way Tim Pool is and what we the thing is, time has been kind to us in learning how these companies function, whether it's Daily Wire, Steven Crowder, Timcast, regardless of how you feel on anyone. We're seeing the long game plan how business actually operates. I think now we have a better idea of when all these companies are going through their changing of personalities. We're now seeing their actions through time play out better. And what we're seeing with Daily Wire is there's some people outside of some of their core. They have issues holding on to certain personalities outside their core. Steven Crowder may be a bit vindicated outside of his control issues that he obviously has.
He's got his own problems.
He's got his own control. He's his own version of a Tim Pool where he has his own control issues. But he may have also had a point about Daily Wire that we're starting to slowly maybe see unfold. But he's more like Tim Pool. They both love how they do business, and they need to be the main guy in the room. They need to be the smartest guy in the room. If they ain't that, then they got remove that object no matter how much views it brings them, because they need to be the face, they need to be the show. You get the picture with those two guys. It's curious to see how they're all playing out now.
For me, I think part of Tim's problem is Tim, right? Because he's talking about the issue with that graphics card when he had Dave Landau on, and he's basically was bitching about a bunch of stuff. It turned into a venting session for him, which was kind of dumb, but whatever. The issue is the fact that it's like, dude, you need to give people power. You need to empower people to be able to do stuff. And if somebody needs something, they're going to go to you because you're the boss. Okay. Especially if you don't empower people to do stuff. It sucks. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't watch Timcast for Tim anymore. I really like Phil when he's on. Phil Levanti. He's great. The only reason why I still watch Timcast on occasion is because of the people he has on the show, not because of Tim.
Yeah, the guest. If the guest is right, same. I'll watch if the guest is right.
Yeah, I like Hannah Claire. I liked her being on the show. I thought she had good takes. And
she was good. She was good on the other show too.
She's gone because he got rid of the news division, and I don't understand why he did that. And now she's with the Quartering, as TZ Burton pointed out. And I was watching their stream from yesterday. He streams with Luke, Sticks, Hex, and Hammer, and obviously Hannah. Hannah Claire. But yeah, it's. I just don't see it happening. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I know that some people say everybody has a price. I don't see the Daily Wire having enough money to buy Tim out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that I think Tim would need such a serious price that he would basically would have to retire, basically.
Well, he's put a lot of money, you said, back in the business. I don't think that he's really invested it well. I don't know. It just seems odd. But when you have someone with an ego that big, right, a personality that big, with an ego that big, it's hard to keep people around them. I mean, people became cultural phenomenons. Johnny Carson, right? He and Ed McMahon. And they were together for a long time. Ed made his own money, had Star Search, had all these kind of things, made lots of cash. But they could stand being around each other. And a lot of the biographies talk about they were the only ones that could stand being around each other in the showbiz world. So I'm sure Adam, of course, had his story he told about that. These are young people with big money in big situations. Every mistake that they make, every little slight mishandling of something is amplified 1,000-fold as opposed to when I had to do it.
Ever consider that maybe, I mean, I don't want to like make Tim Pool sound like he's like the biggest thing ever, but it's just, it feels like almost like a mismatch, not just in the ideological sense, but it almost feels like it would be like Tim Pool in the Daily Wire, not just the Daily Wire, because Tim Pool's such a big personality within that particular market of commentators. I don't feel like he feels like too large of a name. Like I feel like that's something, even if you took out all the agreements Crowder and Daily Wire had each other, I feel like guys like Crowder and Tim Pool, I feel like they're just names like that are just too large to be a part of companies like that, because it doesn't, once again, it's like those guys can kind of overshadow even Ben Shapiro at certain points too. And I can imagine, I mean, it's all starting to come down to ego. I'm starting to see a theme here. I can't imagine Ben Shapiro doesn't want to not be the main man in his own company when Steven Crowder or Tim Pool can outdo him.
Well, so, you also consider, though, that the Daily Wire is trying to get into fiction narrative stuff. Like they're working on that Pendragon cycle thing.
Right.
How much sense would it make to even consider buying an operation like Tim's?
I don't know. That's the thing. So Wolverine Schnick says, why would Tim sell to the Wire? Well, one of the things that people are speculating is the fact that they have the infrastructure to handle the HR stuff, the various stuff that Tim's complaining about. But the thing is, Tim's not hurting for money, right? He's building all these businesses. He wants to build coffee shops and whatnot. Totally down for it, right? But he needs to hire the right people, and that, in my opinion, is part of the ability to, hey, I'm going to let go, right? I need to let go of some of the control that I have. It's like Tim doesn't need to have the Daily Wire buy him to have an HR department. You fucking hire an HR department. That's what you do, right?
Yeah. You can get HR in a box, man.
Yeah.
For X amount, they'll come in and take care of that stuff.
There's a lot of stuff you can actually outsource to companies. But for me, like I said, a lot of it, I think, comes down to control. And for him to have the daily operations run smoothly, he fucking needs to hire people. And I understand that he wants people to be there on location, but you're out in the middle of fucking nowhere, dude. You're going to have some remote employees to be able to do some of this shit. Yep. And you need to make sure you hire the right people. That's the big thing. Don't hire your friends. Sometimes it's one of the worst things you can do when it comes to your friendship. Adam, he basically fucked up his friendship with Adam because he worked with him. And that's on Tim.
Stuff like HR, accounting, your lawyers, all of that sort of thing. That's not anything that is super critical that you have internally, because the processes that are involved in that kind of thing, payroll is payroll. There's not anything that's specific to Tim Pool's operation that payroll would have to be right there on site. Same with the accounting, same with the lawyer, same with whatever other services he's got. I mean, hire the janitor. He comes in once a week and dumps the trash. You don't have to have every single thing on site on staff.
Right.
But he's in that generation, and I don't know Tim from Adam, so I don't know
either.
But he's in that generation where every decision is a crisis decision, and your options are this one really extreme thing, or this other really extreme thing, or this nothing thing. And it was like, you got better options than that, and you don't think it through.
Yeah.
You have to deal with this with a certain 22-year-old sometimes. It's well, it's either this or this. No, it's not, because you can have this or that or this and the other. They don't they haven't been taught how to consider all of the different ramifications of all of the different options that could be available to them. And they just jump to this one thing. Well, it's got to be this. It's frustrating.
you also, like, athletes have this problem. So all of a sudden, before they start paying players in college, an athlete becomes a superstar and they have $40-50 million worth of deals and all that stuff. And you hear how many of them go broke, right? Lottery winners, how many of them go broke? So here's Tim Pool out there living in a tent, doing his thing, you know, getting a couple of $1,000 a month from all that. And then suddenly up he goes.
Yeah.
What do you do? You're not going to be the same person in that case. You're not going to handle it well. He didn't handle stuff with Adam well, and Adam had his stuff to say. You know, he had his culpability in that too, right? And they were friends. They all said, "Okay, we'll do this. It'll be cool. You think it's great. You think it's great." And Randall, sorry, I was using scissors on something, so it wasn't. Yeah. You think it's going to be great, but it's not. And you say you ruin that because when you start talking about money, things get serious.
It does. It changes everything.
Right. And you have to know that going in from there. And when you are a sudden superstar, you don't know that going in.
Well, I think the other thing too is that Tim is the personality. Like with the Daily Wire, they have, you know, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh. They had what's her name that just left. You know, they have the personalities where with Timcast, it is Tim, right? He is the personality. Granted, he has other people on there too. Like with
he's the cult.
But yeah, he is, you know, the reason why people show up to Timcast. He has his morning show, and then, you know, he has the pop culture stuff with the other guys. I don't know how huge those shows are. I only watch one of his shows, and that's just the Timcast IRL, right? I don't watch the morning show. I don't watch anything else. But if he's wanting to get out, selling it to the Daily Wire, it's like, well, I mean, what are they getting at that point that they can't develop on their own?
That's the thing. Without him, there's nothing that they have.
It doesn't make any fucking sense. So I don't see it happening. Legit. I think that this is just all fucking rumors. Maybe Daily Wire dropped it as a rumor to take the heat off the Brett Cooper thing. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Daily Wire. I think they're charlatans for the most part, and I think they're unscrupulous. At least Jeremy Boring is.
You know what it really is, though? Jeremy Boring wants Chicken City.
That's it.
He can build
you know why? Because he needs to film that last Pendragon cycle.
Yeah. It goes along with the chocolate bars, right?
Yeah, I just don't like Jeremy Boring, and they did the right thing because it used to be Ben, I think, was the behind the scenes, and Jeremy was out front, and they definitely flipped because Ben is a way more likable person than Jeremy Boring.
Yeah.
So Jeremy Boring just has Napoleon syndrome. That dude, man, I'm usually really good with personalities and picking things out. He's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
You just tell it from a mile away. Matt Walsh, fucking asshole. Okay. Yeah. The older guy, Craven or whatever his name, I don't know. Whatever his name is. He seems pretty nice.
He is definitely, him and Michael Knowles are definitely probably the most.
Michael Knowles seems like a good guy. Yeah.
I've listened to Michael Knowles on talk on a few things. And also, if he feels like he sees things and hears enough stuff, he'll also change his mind if he feels like, Evan supports him, or if someone can win him over on like a cultural topic, unlike Matt Walsh. Like Michael Knowles, like he was never like as downplaying of like, let's just say geekdom, but he just wasn't like crazy about it, but he had some exceptions he liked. But I remember when he talked with actually Ripa, he was like, oh, I actually, I looked down a little bit this more, but I see it a little bit of a different light, thanks to you. So Knowles is a lot more measured. And Andrew Clavin, he was a lefty at one point. He's also a huge Trekkie, and he's a big fan of video games as well. So he actually understands the culture. He doesn't just talk about it, but he actually understands it. So it's unfortunate guys like that aren't as prominent as the Shapiros and the Walshes, and they get overshadowed easily. Because those guys definitely need more dominant voices in the conversation around that space, because they're getting drowned out by the craziest of the crazy right now. And we got Shapiros and Posos who are
making
everyone look crazy, and it's not fair to everyone else on the right or the center or center right.
Yeah.
Oh, did you read what I put in the chat about Poso and that story?
Well, I read the article covering what he said, and it's just like, dude, you're fucking off. You're
yeah, he's
you're off base, dude. You're fucking wrong. 100%. It's like, just because something happens doesn't mean it's woke.
Yeah. Oh, dude, remember he went after Tulsa King. Like a whole.
yeah.
Was he going after Tulsa King? I just know that he went after the Yellowstone thing
too, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, he did a whole tirade, and he blocked Jeremy DJ Cobra over it because of it. And he was so freaking off the mark. And it's like these guys have forgotten, like, hey, things can be just plain bad.
Well,
like not everything that. Sometimes it can just be plain bad too.
Just because something has poor execution and people don't like it doesn't mean it's woke. It's just poorly executed. It's like, I saw the clip that Brahma was talking about, and where they're like pushing over the headstones and whatnot, and then the elder comes out and he basically says, "Fucking knock it off." I mean, that's not what he said, but and then he goes and starts studying the right, and it's that to show that dichotomy of what is going on within our culture, where the younger generation doesn't have the respect that the elders have for certain things, and the idea of them basically the Duttons selling their land back to the I wouldn't say they're selling it back. They basically sold it to the natives. And I think the reason why and Brahm explained it is because they know that they're going to take care of the land and it's not going to be developed, which is the whole fucking point of the show.
Well, it was also kind of the original deal that the great-great-grandfather also said, if we get this and this stuff in there, Casey didn't want it. He had died. And it shows the maturity of America. There was a point where having a large cattle ranch like that was the billionaire of the day. And they ended up selling all that stuff off, like Aspen and all those kind of things. And they used to, and they just sold them off. And there's a native group on Kauai, one of the most beautiful places on earth. If you get the chance to go and spend a week there vacationing, please go to the North Shore of Kauai and Honolulu. You will not regret it. But the majority of that island is privately owned.
Right.
And the government keeps wanting to buy it, making conservatories, all that stuff. They're like, no, F you. We are the natives in this island. There's 50,000 of us that live on this island.
We'll take care of it.
We're going to maintain this. We have this. And you get the hell off. Because anytime the government touches anything,
fucks it up.
They fuck it up. And let me tell you, that is the most pristine stuff. And if you are an avid hiker, you can hike 2,000 feet up in 1-foot trails while it's sheer cliff down to the ocean, if you'd like, there. And the road doesn't go all the way around the island because the northwest part of the island and kind of the midwest part of the island, those are impassable. You've got to have boats and stuff to get around for a lot of it.
It's not so much we're talking Taylor Sheraton, Tom. We're just talking about Poso and a stupid comment.
Yeah, the comment he made about Yellowstone.
Yeah,
and TZ, I'm with him, man. When he's on like political shows like Timcast, the War Room stuff with like Steve Bannon, Poso's great with that stuff. But he has the Matt Walsh syndrome when he goes into pop culture, especially on Twix. It's one of those things like, is that the same guy? It's one of those things where it's crazy. And I hate saying it because, when he's good at his political takes, he's really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Well, Posobiec, he's a smart guy. I enjoy when he's on Timcast. I like listening to him talk.
Too. He's a great
There's
guy.
a lot of stuff I don't agree with him on, but I think he's smart. I think he's on point with a lot of stuff, but like his hot take on Yellowstone, I think he's dead fucking wrong. Okay. And I get there's people don't like it. And that's fine. Again, I haven't watched the show. Some people like it. Joe just said he liked it. But yeah, dude, it's not fucking woke. It's not fucking woke just because there's something out there where you have talking points from the left about giving the land back to the Native Americans, and they do this in the show. The difference is the motivation. Okay. And their motivation was making sure that the land stays pristine. And again, yes, they did set stuff up in the 1800s series that they had.
Dana Lash actually responded to Posobiec about this too, making that point, like what Tox was talking about, the deal from back in the other show setting this whole thing up with the agreement that they had that after 7 generations, we're going to give it back. So I think he's getting pushback from a number of different angles,
right,
on that.
And it goes back to what we talked about on Monday. It's like it's the problem with calling everything that we don't like is woke when it's not woke. It's no better than what the left is doing when it comes to calling everybody a Nazi.
Racist.
Yeah. Everything is racist. Everything is a Nazi. Everything's homophobic, and you have to call it out. Right. That's what Nita Sarkeesian said. It's just the dilution of another word, which is what we have to be careful of.
And that's what I'm concerned is a lot on the right are coming is the thing that they are against. And you and I have been saying for many years, comics, that's the thing we gotta be vigilant about. And now we're seeing it happen. And it's unfortunate because there are great measured voices on the right, whether it's right or center right, they're measured, but they're now starting to get drowned out for people who just want to be absolutely crazy and asinine about things. And that's not good. Not good at all, because we're end up being where we left off 30, 40, 50 years ago. Right.
There's a lot of
swinging the other way. And
exactly. There's a lot of nuts on the left. There's a lot of fucking nuts on the right.
Yep.
Right.
Well, they exist on
what
both
I
sides.
see, I remember comics I was telling you about this, you and Culture about a year ago, that I felt this pendulum swinging. And I'm seeing it. So we got there. Trump's got this massive win. It's a populist thing and all that stuff. And what I'm seeing is things going back to the right, and they're just not mature enough to not persecute the other side.
Yep.
And that's what I see happening.
I suspect we'll be calling out the right quite a bit in the future, probably. Yeah. This is the issue, right? This is one of the things I talk about when somebody is called a Nazi or a racist from someone on the left. It translates to, someone I disagree with. Yeah. And now what we don't want, which is what's happening, is the definition of woke as being something I don't like. Rather than actually being for what it is, pushing ideology, pushing an agenda, rather than saying it's something I don't like. There's lots of things I don't like that aren't woke.
I hate to interrupt, but I got to bail. I got a family thing that just happened. So,
oh shit, dude!
All right, we'll see you.
Well, we're gonna wrap it up anyway. So,
okay,
see you.
Take care, man.
Bye.
I'll save the Borderlands talk for a video. So let's get the final outro here with Nick.
Hi, it's been good. Let's hope this Superman movie is good, and I won't see a lot of you because I won't be here Monday. So Merry Christmas. Clobby's Comic Shop tomorrow night. I did a very early attend the Superman trailer. I'll have another video in a few days. I'll be back here next week for TNT, and I will have seen Landman after that, of course, even if we're not talking about it, but I just got to throw that in there. Let's hope Superman's good. Creature Commando sucks, and I like cool people, whether you're right or left. As long as you're cool. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you very much, and thanks for having me, Comics.
Thank you, sir. And I'm going to go and get the final super chat, and then we'll showcase some of Sage Tooth Raptor's work here. So Joe for $4.99 says, "Merry Christmas, fellas. Hyped for Superman. Looks to be a good man in a bad world, making the pilgrimage to Texas to see it with my bro. Hail all."
Good.
Yeah.
Glad you're excited, man. That's what we like to see, and I can tell. Once again, I said earlier, there's a lot of people on our corner who are genuinely excited. I don't feel it's them being excited just because they exist. I do feel like there is genuine enthusiasm, and if they have that, let them have it.
Yeah, and like I said, for me personally, I didn't hate it. I'm not super excited about it though. I need to see a little bit more before I'm like, okay,
Well, as you said, he's not your favorite superhero.
Yeah.
Right. I like the Star Trek, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek films because it was Star Trek. My absolute favorite thing in all of this entertainment stuff. Star Trek, Sherlock Holmes. Those are the two things that I really enjoy. So even the crap Sherlock Holmes films, I like them. And I watch them. And the same thing with the Star Trek stuff. Discovery was too far. So they killed what I loved.
Yeah.
Right, about that stuff. And that Star Trek really is dead. And that's why, to me, Star Trek was the franchise most destroyed, because you can come back with Star Wars.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can with any of these franchises at this point.
There is absolutely no way to come back from Star Trek, because you killed the spirit of the show.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you there. I think you're 100% right. You could potentially salvage Star Wars. I don't see it happening. But Doctor Who and Star Trek are fucking ruined,
Doctor Who.
man.
Those two. That's the fight between those two. And the thing is, we could you take those three. Doctor Who's never coming back because of that child episode. Star Trek's never coming back because of what fucking Discovery did. Star Wars, you can sit there and go, 10 years from now, I could see it.
Yeah.
And that's the only difference. Is it going to happen? Probably not.
Yep. All right. Real quick from TZ Burton. Merry Christmas, everyone,
Merry
for
Christmas.
$5. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. This is some of Sabertooth Raptor's work here. So we have his new fighter that he came up with. Looks pretty cool. The bottom shot looks nice.
Oh, yeah. His stuff's... I like these when he does these kind of ships, these gun ships and things and stuff like that.
This is the Mega Raptor. Okay. That's pretty cool. He knows how I kind of like the Harrier looking stuff. I think Harriers would need jets. Okay, that's more the bottom. This is, I think, the side view to the other ship that he sent over. Back to the Mega Raptor. We have the front view. And then this is kind of neat. He actually showed an engine.
Ooh.
Oh, hang on. There we go. That's actually pretty cool, man.
No, that's good. Yeah, I like that.
That's nice. Very nice, sir. Very nice. Good job as always. And I will shove over my good friend Toxic Manflu.
I have no idea what we're doing.
I have no idea.
You got Friday Night Tights tomorrow. You'll be on that. You're doing some kind
I'm actually out tomorrow.
Oh, you're out? Good.
I have
So
a
it'll be
Christmas
good
party
show.
I'm going to, yes.
Oh,
Yes,
that's right. You didn't hear me saying it will finally be a good show with you.
Yes, I heard you.
Are you doing the tabletop Saturday?
Yes,
Yes,
unless Rude I get stuck on a train again. Yes, we should be.
And then we'll do Monday, and then Tuesday we'll do the movie. That will be, was it Christmas Eve? Because Christmas is on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I believe it's Christmas Eve. We'll be doing we'll be watching Christmas Vacation.
Yep. From there we'll be doing that. Yeah, it's that time of year.
Yep.
Good stuff. We got New Year's Eve too. Oh man, all that's coming up. Yeesh.
Well, I know. I guess this year's almost over with. It's fucking insane. Thanks everyone for hanging out with us tonight. It was a lot of fun talking about the Superman trailer and other topics as well. And on that note, if we don't see you, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, everyone.
Heartfelt.
Yeah, legit heartfelt. It's been, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a fucking tough year for me. It really has. The last 2 years have not been easy. But I gotta say is, thank you for the support and watching and hanging out. And I really am doing my damnedest to try and get more content out. As we saw, or some of you saw, I actually put out a video this week. I put it out on Tuesday.
My God, my heart.
I know, right?
It happened. People, you know what? People actually watched it.
I was shocked, to be honest with you, because the whole thing, when you don't make a video for a while, things don't get recommended. I was like, okay, if I get 300 people watching this video, I know the next one will improve, right? Because typically when you don't do anything for a while, it's like nothing, and then you review something, you get more views, and this one actually did pretty well. So I'm actually shocked by that. So I have another couple of videos I want to try and get out. I was hoping to get some stuff this week. I just got super busy today and yesterday. So hopefully I'll have another one out tomorrow. So thank you.
Sucking dick and hoeing on the corner takes time. We got your back, man.
No, I appreciate it. On that note, screw you, Man Flu, and here's some credits.
Did I say that out loud?
You did.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
I debated the whole screw James Gunn thing, but I had to do it. All those articles that you put in there, I just responded back and was just ranting, and I'm like, I'm letting this stuff out. And the video game one that we didn't do, which is the one where they we're not going to do toilet humor or the Hawk 2A gun. The Hawk 2A.
I thought the Hawk 2A thing would be fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, fuck this. The video game should be 100% toilet humor, and the Hawk 2A gun is fucking funny as hell. Put it in there, it'd be great.
Part of the issue is that I understand why they want to dial down the meme humor, because the third game was garbage. Mechanics wise, it was fun, but the story was shit. And they have yet to beat Borderlands 2. The pre-sequel was a decent game. I enjoyed it very much, but Borderlands 2 is peak tier Borderlands, and that is really tough to beat because they had such a great villain in it. And I think that's the weakness of the third game. That and the little girl, I can't remember her name, who's annoying as fuck. Where when they killed Rowan in Borderlands 2, there was such an emotional impact. But when they killed Maya and shit happened to Lilith, it's fucking dumb. So who knows what they're going to do with this next game. I mean, part of what made Borderlands so fun was the irreverent humor, and the toilet jokes were funny. I mean, Piss Wash Gully is actually a thing. I know that was in the movie, but it was actually in the game. It's stuff like that. I mean, there was a bunch of midget jokes and shit, which they went away from because they started getting politically correct, and I guess the guy that originally created Borderlands wasn't involved anymore.
Right.
I think is it Randy Pitchford? I'm trying to remember the guy. Either which way, I'm not sure about this fourth game. So we'll see.
I mean, you just got to get away from that crap stuff that made it fun. And that's the Superman movie.
Yep.
I saw too many super friends in it for me, but that could just be the trailer. I don't know. But it looked okay, and they have to make a winner out of this because they have to start making money.
Yep.
Because they're not going to keep getting bailed out by the government.
Nope.
That's all ending. So.
Indeed. All right, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Good night, and we will catch you Monday.